ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, we build on topics, whether conscious or cosmic. It's never nonsense, mega levels or microscopic. It's a Killa Priest project, AD control the rocket. Before we land the plane, many things we engage and explain. The unexplained, without mask. Welcome to the Killa Priest podcast. Killa Priest podcast. All right. Welcome, y'all. Welcome to another episode of Killa Priest Podcast. I'm your host, Killa Priest, the Iron Sheik. I just preached on my Lord, son. And controlling the rocket is none other than A Dizzle AD.
Yeah, what's good? What's good? It's gonna be a wild night tonight. Watch out.
Oh, shoot. It's going to my side is none other than who? McKepera. Yo, coming back. Salute to the Kings. Yeah. And to the far end, you know who it is. That's Everybody know who it is.
Yeah. Rasulullah 7 from the Lost Children of Babylon.
Rasulullah 7
one
is back
of Philly's finest.
Yo. Shout out to the chat room. I see you. Coach Kadak is the first one I seen. She said, "Peace, Cat Daddy." Oh, shout out to the Cat Daddy too. Danny Salinas in the building. Shout out to the moderators. Jody. Where's the other moderator, AD?
Sandro.
Shout out to Sandro. Please, I'll never forget your name now, Sandro. And Kadaka, Jody, and what's her name? So we rolling. Shout out to Ben Frank. He says, Soul. You know what I mean? You got a fan base, yo, Soul.
Yeah, big up to all y'all. Thanks for the support.
Art King says, Salam. Gonna be a good build today. That's from Jody. Voltage Central says Soul. They all throwing the Soul in there. Soul.
They're also going Soul.
Yeah, that's dope. That goes together. Peace Priest AD from one of the Rocketeers and the Craftsmen. So shout out to the Rocketeers and the Craftsmen. The best chat room on the internet, and I'll say that hands down. You know, I don't get that up a lot. Today we're going to have a crazy build. It's going to be an incredible build. I advise everyone, I'd like to read a proverb before we start. And I started early with the tea so I could just brew it so I don't have to go ahead and make the matcha, but we back to our matcha, yo. I'll show you what brand I'm dealing with. Today going to be an incredible build because we have super scholar. I know Rasul's excited about this, brother. I'm excited.
We excited.
Gozy is excited.
Wow.
Yeah, Brother Garfield. Shout out to Brother Garfield too, man, because he gave me something to shout out his book. He has a book out right now. And it's going to be a great build because we got Chuck Morgan. The great Chuck Morgan.
He's here.
And he's going to build with us. We're going to go into the... I don't know where we're gonna go.
I don't know.
But it's not gonna be.
I think he might got a presentation or something.
Yeah, it's gonna be good.
Not really like a presentation. No, but we're just gonna talk. We're gonna dive into some things.
Yeah. All right. So speaking of diving into things, man, and speaking of bitten, you know what I mean? My man, shout out to Bill Cosby. He came on today, man. Yeah. I know Bill Cosby came on, right?
Yeah.
Time to celebrate.
Time to celebrate.
Well, Bill, man, I ain't gonna lie to you, man. In my opinion, he brought it on himself a little bit, man.
See that you...
Cause
you don't remember like that, bro.
Nah, he ain't on him.
He just came home.
Nah, I'm not talking about him coming home.
Fresh pair of sneakers yet.
Hold on. I'm not saying not him. I'm just saying because he used to say a lot of stuff and do lectures and say black people can't read and it's like you gotta get yourself together and this that.
I'm not going for that, man.
You can pull it up on YouTube.
Well, we gotta talk about that. We talking about Bill Cosby, yo.
Yeah, he used to be hard on us, yo.
No. You gotta be re-educated on that.
I've seen
Bill Cosby was always about uplifting the black people, yo.
He was, and
he was trying to get us out of that ghetto mentality.
I know.
Killing
but it was the way he went about it, though. Some of the things he would say.
You looking at what they try to push on him.
No.
You ain't see Saturday Night Live in Uptown?
I'm not talking about any of that stuff. I'm talking about when he would do like lectures at some universities, especially at Temple. He would just go in on just...
What age?
I had to be like... What age I was?
No. What age was we talking about Bill Cosby?
Well, he was older. He was older then. He had
like
to be
an old man.
Kind of like
everybody beefing with him.
50s. But no, I mean, I understood. I kind of agree with a lot of the stuff he was saying.
Bill Cosby's a real
I just
dude.
think I know. I just thought about he was a little. Some of the words that he used back in the day was a little harsh.
Okay,
Jazz
we
is
can go
like
into that.
Jello pudding.
Well, now he did his little Jello pudding bid.
Yeah,
Now he back on the
man
streets.
now.
You know what I
You know
mean?
what I'm
And
saying?
he did his bid. You think he should call up OJ? Now?
No, I don't think.
Nah, right, just
I
do
don't.
it,
I think.
just
I
ride it
think
out.
Bill, he gonna come home, fall back, man, get a nice
But I think, you know
meal.
what I'm saying, also on a serious note, I think Bill Cosby, man, is a representation of how easy it is for the system to take a man, run his name through the mud, realize that they was wrong, and just let him free. Man, the whole thing was a setup, and they got us to help him, to help them do it, because a lot of times, man, when these people do stuff, they always need us to sanction it.
Yeah.
The only way to get them to sanction, like I said,
Yeah.
in order to assassinate first a person, you got to assassinate their character first.
Right.
Because the people just ain't gonna let you do good people wrong.
Right.
So you got to run his name through the mud, and then after you run his name through the mud, lock him up.
Right. And we don't.
Then just drop the charge and say, "Oh, nigga, you can go home."
That's right. Yeah, that's right about that, man. We gonna go deeper into that, later on.
Yeah.
But that's real though. You know what I'm saying? We don't condone, drugging girls.
Yeah.
Don't get that twisted. We don't talk about drugging girls. It's harsh to say, but it's real. We don't condone putting pills in there. But if you at the crib already, you know what I'm saying? And you know how they was partying back then.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? We talking about the 70s.
Yeah.
This is all, but you just hit you in your head that, you know what I mean?
Yeah, you know, what they call it.
You might have been in, you know what I'm saying? Whatever. You know what I'm saying? I'm just saying, we talking about the 70s. They wanted to bring him down, man. With Ennis, his brother, his son, they don't knocked him off, but he's home now, so it's all good. No, shout out. I see what y'all say. Somebody said paid off. Oh, that's Jody. All right. So without further ado, man, let me read. Did you got that picture of Bill Cosby real quick? Shout out to who's that? Capadonna? Who said that to you?
That was Dro.
Oh, shout out to Hydro, man. Shout out to my brother. Yo, listen, my man Hydro, one of the realest cats when I first came out to LA, you know what I'm saying? I stayed with that brother. That brother is one of the deepest and hard brothers right there. He knows we got like a spiritual link.
Right,
and
right.
show that picture for, they seeing it?
Hold on.
Oh, okay. The cat wilding out, yo,
The kid wilding over there.
because Mojito is not getting no props. Shoot.
You already got his treats.
Oh, he ain't got need his treats.
You already got him.
Oh, you mean his fix?
Yeah, thanks.
Yeah, give him his fix.
Exactly.
Fact, got the cat on.
Okay, hold on.
Somebody say Munchie said peace.
Boom. It's my man's home right now.
What's that say?
Fly whip. That's a Lexus too. I think that's a Q45. To be honest with you.
Somebody said keep worshiping your false idols, clown. Guess the what's the name is in there beefing.
King
And then
Kingsdom on TV.
and y'all start beefing now. I need to sit down.
Okay, they see it.
All right, they see it. Yeah, that's shout out to who said that one? Bill Cosby's home,
Shout
yo.
out to Dro. He's home.
Yeah, shout out to Dro.
You know what I'm saying? He got his Q45.
Yeah.
You're like, he about to go.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, you about to go to the Chinese store.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Chicken wings.
Got the
something,
broccoli
fried
guest
rice.
boots on. You know what I'm saying?
Yup.
Somebody must have
Yeah.
just threw him that. Somebody threw him that. You know what I mean?
William Cosby.
Yeah.
William Cosby. Yeah, you could call him William right there.
Yeah,
William.
William Cosby.
Yeah. Exactly. He on his thing. Yeah, he looking good though.
For
Look
real,
like he lost weight.
Yeah.
Yeah, he look like he lost weight. Yeah, exactly.
Dude. Got
I
the
know you been
Applejack
like that.
hat. There's an Applejack hat right there. Look at that.
Indeed.
He taking it back.
Shout out to San.
Shout out to Fat Albert too in the Fat Albert. Yeah, he did that stuff. He did so much stuff.
He did. I love the Fat Albert show.
Oh, yeah.
All right, y'all. Y'all got y'all laughs off. Uptown Saturday night. He home though, and they dropped the charges.
They just
Yeah,
dropped
they
him.
just dropped him.
Sent him home.
Man,
Like,
that
It's
should
gonna
have
be
happened.
on. It's gonna be on in Hollywood tonight.
Man.
But everybody 70
yo.
years old gonna be.
I wish that could have happened in York. You know, I wish
speaking
they
of
coulda-
York.
yeah, I wish that could have charges could have been dropped like that.
I don't know. They could. Man, you a Dr. York. Like I don't know what to call you. Like the prophet. What is it? Dr. York's?
No, I'm not Dr. York's prophet.
Oh, but you just want him out for.
Oh, no, I'm just-
being a brother. Yeah, just being a brother. That's true. He from Brooklyn.
We all wished it could have happened like that.
Yeah, I feel you. Speaking of Dr. York, well, speaking of Space Cadet, and we about to shout out to everybody that's in there. Let me read a quote, because we'd like to get a quote. Let's get a quote about open up your minds. Let's go on AD real quick. Now we're going to read that. We can each read a line. I don't know what to call you, like the prophet. What? We're going to pull this up because the brother that's coming on is he didn't need no introduction, but we're going to introduce him anyway because we're about to go to another. Shout out to Can You Dig It also. He sent me something. What kind of? Just say open up your mind quotes. We'll just read one for the first one we see. I like to read these things because they let's do the first one. Open what it says. We can pick three. We can pick three since there's three of us. I'll hit the first one. Open your mind. No, that's a little whack one. Next one. Some say get
Some
off the
people
couch.
do need to get off the couch now.
Yeah, they do.
Mind.
Yeah,
You know what I mean,
I told people that remote control. It's about that remote control. It remotely control you, bro. Put that down and put them seasons down. All right, let's get one more. I see one. Open your mind, explore. Yeah, open your mind, explore, and make it hardcore.
open your mind, explore, and make it hardcore. That sounds like a rhyme.
Free your mind, and when you learning something, y'all want one? You want to say one? A quote?
Let me see.
And then we're going to bring on Chuck, man.
Open your mind and it will lead you towards wonderful and fulfilling, what did it say?
Excursions.
Yeah, wonderful.
And you know,
excursions.
You want to read one?
No.
All right, I'm going to break this down. And that's what the thing is, man. You have to open up your mind and be willing to accept things. And that, you accept it, you take out the bad. You know, it's just like a food with an entree. And you got a whole bunch of food before you. And you just eat. You just eat and taste and see if it's good for your soul. You know what I'm saying? Make it high. You know, everything that doesn't taste good doesn't mean it's not good for you. We all like them sugars and them preserves. You know what I mean? Stuff like this. Some things you got to be willing to sit down at the table. When we at the table right now, we got the ill fresh cloth done by my man McKepper. We brought the cloth in.
You know what I'm saying?
The comedic craftsman.
A different kind of cloth.
Yeah. Cut from a different kind of cloth. I like that. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
All right. Without further ado, this man is ill. He's been, I'm going to let him explain all the stuff he's been through. But I'm just going to bring him on. So for the chat room, get ready. Open your minds. Remember, hit that super chat if y'all got questions for him. And wait for your question, but it's going to be... As soon as excited. Look at this man. He don't know what to do. He like a kid at candy stuff. We all excited. Now, without further ado, let's bring him on. Yo, proudly presenting Mr. Phenomenal Chuck Morgan. What's good with you, Chuck?
What's happening, fellas?
What's going on? What's going on with you?
Well,
Lighten it up.
Yeah.
You get an intro here, bro. You get an intro on this one, man. Man, we doing good, man. So, what's up, Chuck? What's good, man?
All's good.
All right.
Rocking it.
Okay. For the people who don't know you, you know what I'm saying, and there's a lot of people that know you, let's give a good introduction to you, a quick a quick genesis, or on your way, Onuma Elish, you know what I mean, the beginning of your beginnings and stuff. And tell a little bit about yourself.
All right. Well, Chuck Morgan, I run the Nuwaupianism.com website. I have been involved with the organization as Ansar going all the way back to 1989. I walked the entire route with Malachi York from that point all the way up until his incarceration and until he was convicted and sent off to prison. I did get involved. My thing, as far as with York is concerned, he and I kind of really hit it off when I started doing talk radio. And I would, there was in Washington, D.C., you had the station WOL, which was later taken over by XM Satellite Radio. It's one of the Kathy Hughes stations, Radio 1. And Joe Madison was the original Black Eagle. Joe Madison was the one that trained me in the studio. And many of the shows that we did, New York had taken them, because whenever you did shows or classes, you would submit the audio or video. And if York liked it, he'll transcribe it over into like video tapes, audio tapes. And so I had about 11 audios or CDs featuring some of the debates, conversations, issues that I had with various religious groups, from Israeli church to, of course, Christian, because that was where it all kicked off. And things were going pretty good for, I never had any problems with them. And so that just aided because of all the issues that were taking place down in Georgia with zoning and the sheriff, etc. He would tell me that they enjoyed the shows because they were so funny, because of the way that we would just, beat up on Christians or anybody else. So that really is what catapulted me within the organization over the years, all the way up until York's removal. So I've had, I was always into the books. When I started off, I had the name Kedar in DC, but when I was relocated to Florida, and the brother out of Philadelphia named Kedar, because he and I couldn't have the same name, so I took the brother who was in Washington, D.C. running from New York named Idris, one who studies. So I took on that title or name, and it pretty much walked with me throughout my time. And everything that you find on the Nuwaupianism.com website is just me critiquing the doctrine or presenting facts related to the case or the trial that many people didn't have access to. So I look at it as just something like a reporting on the history. It's like a little type of video or audio encyclopedia of what took place within the organization. And just to bring people who may not know anything about it, just to give them a chance to really delve into what the doctrine was. Because like anything, some people will be more select on what it is that they'll listen to, or what they find to be right knowledge or something that is amazing. But when you look at what's presented on the website in the 4 different categories, you'll have a greater chance to see this is pretty much how things went within the doctrine, how it switched up, he switched up, the contradictions, the plagiarisms, and right knowledge gone wrong, on and on and on. So I leave it up to the audience to decide how they want to interpret what's presented before them.
Yeah.
Tell us some of the stuff that that you found out while you was in it, when you were critiquing. Like, tell us some of the things you were that you exposed or critiqued.
Wait a minute, say that again?
Could you share with us some of the things that you critiqued and tell us about them? Or could you go deeper into that?
Oh, well, one of the things is, I think it's the most popular, I do not know why, but one of the most popular talking points for individuals who may have come across it is the infamous Pickle Man.
Which started here on this show.
No, that didn't really start. I mean, I think that's always...
No, the question popped up here, though.
Yeah. There's probably Cuban Crisis in there making a bunch of jokes, too.
Right.
Yeah. Oh, before I get started, I want to thank my youngin here. She is responsible for the set.
Oh, beautiful.
Okay. Oh, wow.
Say hi.
Beautiful set.
All right.
Beautiful set, man.
Nice. That's nice.
Nice. You got
it, man.
Sorry, I had her out of frame. So if she wants to come back real quick, I
you want to come in
had
and say hi?
Yeah, because I want to make sure she gets that. Because I was trying to shake the frame there. There you go.
Hey, hola. Yeah, no doubt. We know you out there in Hawaii. And shout out to Globe Media real quick. Shout out to Killa Priest for bringing Mighty Hebrew and Zion Lex on. Those 2 brothers would really deserve it. We'd like to see them back again and once again. You would.
Yeah.
No, we
got to bring
we gotta bring
them. Right. Okay. Shout out to Mighty Hebrew too. Zion Lex. All right, you can continue on, my brother.
Well, yeah. So it wasn't a real big story. What I'm gonna do is, can I share my screen? Because what I'm gonna do is,
this is all I was about to get into.
Go ahead.
This is about to be good. Hold on, to everybody in the chat room, we got Chuck here tonight. So the question about Pickle Man will finally be answered.
Yes.
Get your dill and your vinegar.
Yeah.
What else you put in there? What else you put in the pickle jar?
Hold on.
Oh,
the
man.
berries. Pimento seeds.
Pimento seeds.
Yeah,
pimento seeds. Yep.
What's the dill?
Yo, did y'all see Pickle Man on the I forget what one of them shows, cartoons? They actually had a Pickle Man. It was in the show. Pickle Man was in the show.
It was a cartoon too. He had Pampers on. It's like a pickle was walking around with Pampers. Oh, that was a peanut.
Yo, that's crazy. Who came up with it first, Chuck? The networks or Dr. York, man?
Wait, say that again.
I said, who came up with the concept of Pickle Man first? Dr. York or the people in the network, the people from The Simpsons who make all those cartoons? Who came up with it? Because it's weird, man. It's starting to become weird.
But here's the thing: the image that York uses is from some magazine or book that doesn't say Pickle Man, but he labeled it as Pickle Man.
What?
Yeah.
Nah, I never knew that. God,
yeah. Hold on, give me a second.
Calm down. We got you, Rasul. Just calm down, brother. You're about to hear for you. It's like you told everybody to prepare yourself. I think you should prepare yourself. Right. He's telling us stuff. Go ahead.
Okay, so let me see if I can share my screen. 1 second.
A magazine?
Oh, right.
Oh, yeah, a mag. Yo, somebody said Rick and Morty. Yeah, Pickle Man was on Rick and Morty.
Rick and Morty, yeah.
Y'all stupid, yo. You
see that?
Chuck,
I'm sorry for laughing. What's that? Is Pickle Man real? It's the smile. He got that smile. Like,
oh man.
See the smile? Right
y'all
there.
stupid. Y'all stupid.
All right.
Here
So
we go.
on this particular article, what I did was I tried to use many of the quotes that York would use to set it up. So one of the things is look into what I am teaching. Check it out. See if it's the facts. Man from Planet Risk, page 29. I teach you to have facts because having faith, it isolates the ability to question. Everything I have been teaching you is without doubt. Okay? So with the above questions from Dr. York and the truthfulness, he gives you a big breakdown of evidence, experience, reason, what right knowledge consists of. So when you look at his definition of right knowledge, is that evidence, experience, evidence, reason, everything. Knowledge is always logical and it reasons out. The first step to Nuwaubian is right knowledge, which will pass any one of the three tests that is practical for knowledge given. So one cannot always use the experience test because the experience test is not practical for all knowledge. The evidence and reason tests are those tests which are more often practical. So in laying that out, we went to this publication.
Yep, there it is. The book. I had that book. Yep. Is God an extraterrestrial? Which is actually a good question. I actually like that question. But
is God an extraterrestrial? And within the pages of that publication, you have some interesting imagery.
Hold on, brother. Pardon me for laughing.
No,
this is serious because this is what he showed everybody when he.
This
is in the book.
It's in the books. Hatan. That's the general of the. Who's he? Chuck. That's Hatan, right?
That is a
what's his name?
Character
Hatan. I don't know. I'm saying it.
Yeah, it's some kind of reptile.
That's scary. You still know the name of this.
Another vessel.
Yeah, he was a general of the reptilians. According to Doc.
Comic books.
Right, he was right. General.
But hold on, check this out. So, and next to that, on the figure 62, you have Bat Boy. Now, this is the man.
Bat Child found in cave. All right, go ahead.
Fine.
All right. So, on page 88 of the same book, York presents an illustration for the readers and writes about various strange creatures, extraterrestrials. And look here. There's your Pickle Man.
Yeah. Yep.
Ladies and
sitting
gentlemen,
right next to the creature from the Black Lagoon.
This is historic right here. Hold on, let's set the evening for this. I finally seen the Pickle Man.
This is
I'm older.
You didn't know that's the picture?
I'm kind of up in my years. So growing up, I remember watching the Creature from the Black Lagoon, the old 1950s reruns, the black and white joints. So seeing this, and then of course the Predator.
Sorry.
Yeah, now keep in mind.
I don't mean to disrespect.
Why you feeling?
No,
this feel like that, brother.
No.
If you want to laugh, go on and laugh, brother, because we laugh too.
You did? You ain't laugh in class though.
I didn't laugh in class.
Yeah, when you first.
When I got home,
Chuck, did you laugh?
Yo, I kind of giggled. You didn't giggle, Chuck. You didn't giggle.
Listen. Let me make some clear. First of all, check this out. York never spoke about this stuff publicly. What he did was he put it in publications. He never talked about Pickle Man in public. He never spoke about Creature from the Black Lagoon. And he never talked about publicly in lectures, audio, video of the Predator, a being from the Andromeda Galaxy. And the reason that it looks like, the reason that the Andromeda Galaxy looks the way it does is because it's supposed to resemble a grasshopper. So the beings that are coming from Andromeda, the Predator creature, is real, according to York. I did a whole video, just recently put one up, and then I have an article which we're going to go into. I'm going to show you some good points. But aside from the Predator, this is your Pickle Man. So because he only put it in 2 publications, he didn't even elaborate. All he has is Pickle Man alongside the Creature from the Black Lagoon and the Predator. So I did an extensive, exhaustive search trying to find out where this image came from.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Where did that come from?
Someone told me that it's in the Matrix book. I don't know which volume, but that's what I was told. But as far as I know, they don't regard this character here as Pickle Man.
Oh, so you mean to tell me this image right here, Pickle Man, right? Is not. It wasn't really pickle. It wasn't. Doctors took it and called it Pickle Man.
There you go.
Oh man, my whole thing is like, here's the thing, man. Why would he? Why was his name Pickle Man? This is getting crazy, man. Because why would he put that in there, man?
That is a question that was never asked.
Flat Earthers got a problem now.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the.
It's getting good.
It's kind of crazy that a lot of the times I would see these things in the book, and you would probably see these things in the book. Why didn't you? What did you say when you proofread that book? Did you never come to the course like?
Okay.
You never wanted to pull Doc to the side and say, hey, what's up with Pickle Man?
I'm already with you. Listen, when we got the books, the proofread books, many of these books didn't have the illustrations in them.
Okay.
So a lot of the, so they would just write it out, transcribe it, make sure that all the typos are checked. That's what the whole purpose of that proofreading was, make sure everything is lined up. This one, this one was something that I was never able to proofread.
Right, okay.
I wasn't a part of that. This came out back in 95, 96.
Right.
Yeah. So I never got, more of the books that I was dealing with was like the Black Book.
He looks like he has like a little, what is that? Like
he has a little belt.
What is a utility?
Okay, so this sort of BS is in Malachi York's teachings, but whenever a Nuwaupian is confronted with the question of Pickle Man, they ignore and divert from the question. York shows you images of 3 so-called beings from outer space. From the Pickle Man, the Creature from the Black Lagoon, the Predator. If you look close at the Pickle Man's waist, you'll see the utility belt, like Batman. And I mean, this is what listen, it's kind of funny to some people, but here's the thing. That's why before writing this thing, I pointed out he gives you this breakdown from various stages, like the degree of Christism, the Man from Planet Riz, the Black Book, the Holy Tablets, how you, as a skeptic, is supposed to approach someone who is advocating pseudoism. So if you take this approach to anyone outside of New York, if you start to apply it to Nuwaupu or the Nuwaupian doctrine at the time, the United Nuwaubian Nation of Moors, you were seen as some type of skeptic, or you were not, or you were kind of straddling the fence. So some people didn't want to ask questions like this because they didn't want to be perceived as being either some kind of a spy, or this guy is trying to go after God, or he's any number of issues may arise. Because usually when people came down from the north to lectures that York gave in the south, the person who brought them, we were told, anybody you bring down here, you're responsible. So if they start acting stupid, asking them dumb space-age questions, it's going to look bad on you and your tabernacle, your community. So before we would bring people down, when we had bus trips, like New York, Sakino, you would bring like 4 or 5 busloads of people down. You had to make sure you screened them and let them know, don't ask Doc no spacey questions about something from out of the Matrix or that kind of stuff. Ask them some questions that, something you read that just makes sense. Don't ask them none of them stupid stuff.
And Doc controlled that. You're saying that Doc controlled the screen. Okay. On
how these, he controlled how. Hold on. He controlled how the classes were going to be instituted. As a matter of fact, many of the classes, like on the old True Light tapes, York wasn't even in the room. York was at the York studios watching the class on a monitor and answering the questions.
What?
Yeah, and a lot of the classes.
I was under the impression that that all them lectures was people was in the studio with him or in the congregation.
No, he did come out. Most of the times he would be out, but a lot of the True Light tapes are from being inside the studio.
Sounds like Wizard of Oz to me. No, because remember he was
because it's like this. No, I'm gonna show you why. Because a lot of the classes in New York, brothers were teaching. So the brother Akil, he was very good at regurgitating York's words, which is what we all did. We were all great teachers. We were excellent student teachers because we mastered the art of regurgitation.
Memory.
Talking about memory. Listen, when I first came into first I'm gonna lay this and then I'm gonna walk into it. When you become a part of the Ansar law community, Nubian Islamic Hebrews, right? This is before Nuwaupians. You lived, there were 2 types. You had the supporters, and then you had the people who were a part of the community that lived within. So the thing was, you were to ask to come into the tabernacle of the Most High. And then
he called, where's the tabernacle of the Most High?
It was where
the tabernacle of the Most High was at 717 Bushwick Avenue, Brooklyn, New York.
Oh, it had an address.
Yeah.
The tabernacle of the Most High was at 777 Bushwick Avenue.
Yeah.
I know exactly.
Why you ain't go over there, man?
I did. We went to go get pizza.
Yeah, they had, listen, York was, listen, I'm going to be fair. York was a master when it came to business, promotion, merchandising. He was a hell of a businessman. You can't take that away from him.
Yeah.
When he started to get into music, he was able to exploit entertainers to his advantage by taking pictures with them, having them record in his studio, and then release papers saying that these people are with us. I remember when we left from DC, when they were, at the time they left from New York, Jaza Abba, upstate New York, moved down to Georgia, and we were dressed as cowboys.
I remember
cowboys because the thing was, he didn't want to go down to Georgia and have a whole bunch of Negroes coming down and flooding the town wearing white jalabias.
Yeah, that was a masterful tactic right there.
Wait a minute. Say that. Wait a minute. You got dressed up as cowboys. You was dressed up.
No, I wasn't a part of that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
What was that school called? That's when the Native American. That was the.
Hold on. Let him finish. Don't finish. Yeah. Go ahead. Go ahead,
sorry,
brother. Yeah, you go. Yeah. this we go all over the place. But it's good though.
No. We can walk there.
Okay, we can walk. Yeah, let's walk.
This stuff is.
Put on your shoes, everybody. We're gonna walk this down real slow. We're dressed in cowboy suits now. Go ahead.
Okay, so let me because I'm gonna walk it all the way through. So you moved into the community, and then you had to go out every day and propagate. You had to go out and make money. We were pimped. York was our pimp. Because when we came home, we had to turn in the monies that we made while we were out in the street all day. So I don't know what it was in New York, but in DC, at one time we had about 30 brothers. So all the brothers turned in because they would go out. Most of the brothers went out six times a day. So they would go out, and when you come back, your quota was 100 a day. So when we come in, you turn in your 100, and then you good, because if you turn in enough, that'll prevent you from having to do all day guard duty.
That's why I needed my bombs right here, man. I'm gonna just hit the table.
So
when he say stuff like
hold
that,
on. But check this out. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, good.
The man with the highest turn in gets to go to the green room.
Order in the court. Sorry, order in the court. He's dropping it. Oh man, hold on. I got my hammer.
Yo, you know, they tried to say.
Where is the green room?
They tried to say.
What happened in the green room?
They tried to say I would always ask questions about the green room because I heard about the green room. If you became a Nuwaupian, you heard the stories. Things would link out, right? And I would ask about the green room, and they tried to tell.
Here's the thing.
Let's finish with this. We're gonna let you out the cage.
By the time Nuwaupians became a part of the doctrine, the green room was already done with.
Oh, wow. Okay.
That was during the Ansar law period.
Right.
So if you were a high man and you had your girl or your wife, you get to go to the green room and you get to do your thing overnight with your girl.
What?
Hold on.
Sound like a jazzy spot.
Yeah.
Oh, wait. Well, you know, that was the Islamic. That's the Islamic era, right? The Ansar era, right?
No, we was doing that when we were pretending to be Hebrews.
Oh, y'all was doing okay.
Yeah, because when I was in Baltimore,
y'all pretended to be Hebrews. Hold on.
Back up.
We pretended to be Islamic. We pretended to be Hebrews.
Order in the court. Order in the court. Islamic Hebrews. What else, brother? The RZA had to rhyme.
We pretended to be Sumerians.
Sumerians. Oh. Chat room should light on fire right now. This is crazy. You dropping it. I love this interview.
Yo, Chuck, man. It's crazy. It's like, it was crazy, yo. Go ahead. Sorry, go ahead. Proceed, brother. Proceed.
Hold on. Now,
proceed on. I got to take my hat off of this one. Oh, man.
So,
you talking about the green room.
If you turn, so the low man, the two dudes that turned in the lowest amount of money, you had to stand on guard from 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. If you fell asleep, brother, that the rover who walks around and he might pluck you or slap you, if you fall asleep, you get taxed. And the tax was you stay to midnight.
Oh man.
And you get no time, and you get no coochie with your girl.
They actually did. You can't. They did that?
Yeah, bro. Why is it so hard for you to believe that?
Like, they didn't do that.
The man was right there.
You ain't allowed. You ain't allowed to do that.
What?
Tell another man when he could have sex with his wife when he can have sex with his wife.
Let me tell you why.
Shaka did.
Shaka Zulu?
Yeah, Shaka did.
Hold on. He said Shaka Zulu did this.
Hold on. Let him talk. Let him finish, brother. Let's let this brother go. Go ahead. Yeah.
That's the hammer of Thor.
All right. Okay, so when you moved into the community, you had to first fill out some forms. You had to get a physical.
Yeah, I remember that. You
had to disclose all of your sexual and your sexual history, whatever venereal diseases you may have had, and if you committed any murders, whatever you've done, you got to put it on the application. And one of the things is that how much sex do you have a week, or a day, or a month? Now, my suspicion on that was that if someone crosses York, they have all of this data on them that if you say something, he'll put it out in the book. And he actually did. When the book Ansar Cult in America, written by Bilal Phillips, was released, the people who spoke to Bilal Phillips interviews, York took all of their history that they wrote down in their application and put it in a book, the Ansar, the Rebuttal to the Slanderers, the Ansar Cult in America, or Ansar Cult Rebuttal to the Slanderers book. So that made people a little, if something happens, you have to remember that if you say something, everything that you wrote, is right there. So if you had, because like one sister, I think it was two sisters, they had X amount of abortions, they had syphilis at one time, they got raped. They put this in the book. You can look. You can go online right now. You can go to Scrib, and you can look at Ansar Cult. I'm sorry, Rebuttal to the Slanderers by Reverend Dr. Malachi. I'm sorry, Reverend Dr. I'm sorry. Let me say it the way it was on the book.
Wow.
Written by Reverend Dwight York.
Wow.
No, he changed his name back. He said,
let him say that. Let him say that address.
We're going all over,
again.
but we're going to touch on that too.
Yeah, say that address again so people can look it up if you want to, if you're interested.
You can just go to Script and put in the book, right type in the book, the Ansar Cult, the Rebuttal to the Slanderers by Dr. York.
Okay, man, put that in there.
I always recommend that book because that book, he's giving you a biography of the history of the organization from 1970.
I actually used to have that book too, Priest.
It's available. It's free.
Oh, it is?
From 1970 all the way up until the period when that book was written in 1989.
Oh, so that book came out in 89.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And a lot of stuff took place at that time. York was so desperate because he wanted to have the name Mahdi at his last name that he had officially had his name changed, but it didn't come in time. And then he got arrested for falsifying documents, which was a passport, because he was trying to use somebody else's name so he can get the name Mahdi put on it. But that's a whole thing. I got that in the article.
Oh, man, that's crazy.
York's name, Dwight York.
Yeah. Yeah, it's crazy. It's insane.
All right, so what was the question? Because I got sidetracked.
What was the question you had?
Damn, I got sidetracked.
This is shocking. Hey, listen, this has to come out. They say everything in the darkness comes to light. And now, now everything is coming.
It is what it is.
It is what it is, bro. And it is what it is.
The problem is that too many people believe the propaganda.
Right.
And that propaganda is what duped people out of their livelihoods. It duped people out of having a stable credit in their resume.
Right, right.
Because a lot of us, a lot of people were so, they believed in the extraterrestrial thing so much that they stopped paying bills.
No, for real.
Why am I going to pay bills when I'm going to the ship?
Yeah.
The bureaus is coming. I mean, I'm getting everything I can. I ain't paying no bills.
Yeah, that's what they used to do. They said, they remember back in the day, they said, yo, you got to come. They told you got to move down to Edenton, Georgia to live on the land to get on the spaceship.
The spaceship was just coming to Georgia.
It's going to come.
Hold on.
It was supposed to come
where Georgia was.
Yeah, it was supposed to come to the land. It was supposed to come to the land and pick us all up.
But here's the thing.
Right? Am I correct? Am I correct, Chuck?
That whole ideology was so convoluted.
You understand your part. You understand your passion.
Shifted it back and then, because the whole thing was this. You got to remember, going back to Ansar Allah, the 144,000 children of light, they were the ones who were going to be a representation of the prophecy of the book of Revelation. Because these children will be raised within purity within the tabernacle of the Most High. At that time, we were told that the tabernacle of the Most High was what? The Ansar Allah community. In Bushwick Avenue, Brooklyn, New York. Now, after Bilal Phillips wrote the book, The Ansar Cult in America, York had already had property in upstate New York. And then it got so heavy that he just decided to just pack up and move to Jazir Abba, where it became the Tabernacle of the Most High.
Mm-hmm.
Matter of fact, it became known as Mount Zion.
Y'all called it Mount Zion?
No, he called it Mount Zion.
Okay.
And the reason he called it Mount Zion because he started abandoning Islam. He eliminated. He said, after Bilal Phillips exposed the green room, the welfare fraud, a whole bunch of other things in that book, York was just obsessed with trying to get back at Bilal Phillips. So he said, all the sisters take their veils off. All the brothers come out of the white. And when we would go up for the 19 classes that were in New York, we noticed something that was very odd. And you know what that was?
What was that?
We were Ansar Allah. We were Mahdi. We were speaking Arabic, right?
Right.
We got up in upstate New York. We see on the way up, it says, you are entering Indian land.
Wait a minute. That's what... And that's coming from the family, like, you know, docking them. That's just, you know, when you walk and you're always driving up there.
It seems like you have a problem hearing what he said. He said it nice and clear.
Yeah.
He's coming through. He said they entered in the Indian land, the reservation.
No. Listen, when he said, see, upstate New York, that was where the headquarters was going to be placed. So classes were going to be still held, but you had to travel up to see Rabboni Yeshua Bar El Hadi.
Who's that?
That's Dr. York.
Yeah, that's one of his names.
Dr. York took on the persona
of Yeshua,
of now being a rabbi.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was a rabbi and a
subliminally calling himself Christ, actually, because of the name Yeshua.
Well, let me put it to you this way.
Bar El Hadi.
Check this out. York said, what is Jesus's holy name? He said it was Rabboni. No one else no Negro in America has ever referred to himself as Rabboni. Other than York. Yeah. So you see where he plays with it?
Yeah.
So when we would go up there, like on his birthday, you would see the banner. It would be Rabboni, happy birthday, Rabboni Yeshua Bar El Hadi.
What?
And he would be dressed with the kuppah. He would have the way, listen, in the book of Revelation, chapter 1, verse 9, when he talks about, I turned to the one who showed me the vision, and I turned, and it was one like unto the Son of Man, having hair like lamb's wool, and feet like fine brass, if it burned in the furnace. Remember that?
Yep.
All right. That is supposed to be York. York claimed to be Melchizedek, Michael, the warring angel, the one whose name means who dares to be like El. So York then, throughout his career, remember, you got to remember, he always referred to himself as the angel Melchizedek. He was Melchizedek. He was Michael, the warring angel. He was he would say he was a being, but he didn't really start jumping off into the La La Land until later. But to keep it within theology, he claimed that he was Rabboni Yeshua Bar El Hadi, and then we now are studying what we studied before we were Muslims, which was that we were Hebrews. We were Nubian Hebrews. And the reason that we became Islamic Hebrews is because so many of y'all that came into this community, y'all wanted some information on Islam and how to beat people in Islam and how to debate people in Islam. So we then take on, I'll become Muslim. And so I'll teach y'all Muslim Islam. That's what he would say. So that line is very similar to where you hear, before I was teaching religion, back in the 1960s, I was teaching y'all right knowledge in Nuwaubian as Amanubi Ra'akata.
A man of many hats.
But let me hold that off for right now. So when we were upstate, we started getting these classes that was supposed to be the 19 classes. 19 was the sacred number, not only in Islam, thanks to a mathematician Muslim by the name of Dr. Rashid Khalifa.
Yeah.
Who was murdered by Sunni Muslims, who York paraded and exploited to say that, well, I'm teaching the science of the number 19, and these people are trying to kill me because there was a rabbi who was murdered in New York, and then on the same day, according to York, the man who did the murder, a Muslim, was sitting in the Sunday class, the question and answer classes in Brooklyn, where York posted it in the book 360 Questions to Ask the Orthodox Sunni Muslims. They try to give the appearance that what he was teaching was so profound that they sent assassins to get him. After they killed the rabbi, they were coming to get Imam Asa.
Well, he said that what's that one I read in a book. I read in that I forget the book that I was reading, but he actually showed a picture of the Arab guy that was supposedly was trying to assassinate him. You remember that?
That's what I'm talking about. That's in the 360 Questions to Ask the Orthodox Muslims. Yeah.
So wait a minute. It sounds like he had a whole bunch of stuff going on, man. And what about I heard this thing about the holy whores in the bottomless lake. Is that
the holy whores?
Okay.
Yeah. What about the holy whores? It's a lot of stuff.
Yeah, it's a lot of stuff. It gets wild. It gets wild, man.
It's real simple. It's no big deal. That term, holy whores, was something that we heard that the ladies at the welfare office in Baltimore on Wrightstown Road, they were labeling the sisters.
Man.
Not something that was nature. That was only in Baltimore.
The holy whores.
Because the girl. See, when you moved in, if you had a girlfriend or wife, she had to get on welfare and get the food stamps because the monies that came in goes to the mission.
Right.
The mission, however you want to see it, was to keep the organization running, and part of that was they would buy food in bulk. So the welfare checks or the food stamps, you would go to wherever they went, like a Costco, and buy in bulk to pay for whatever food that everybody wanted, which was usually lentil beans and rice, because we usually ate rice and beans all the time.
Wow.
Now, where the money went, I'm not gonna get into.
Well,
no, you was about to say where the money went?
Well, I mean, listen, there's so many stories I can tell you, brother.
We got time.
Listen, let me give you an example. Let me give you an example. In Baltimore, because that was one of my favorite spots. Because this last thing on the green room.
Okay.
Now that was in New York. They had the green room. Haven't they set that up? But see, all the other satellite communities had green rooms also.
Right.
So DC had a green room. Baltimore had a green room. Philadelphia had one. On and on and on. Boston, right? Mm. So now I was in DC, Baltimore, and Florida. Now in Baltimore, the brother who ran it was a young slick dude out of Philadelphia. I forget his name, and he had it set up like some kind of Arab harem. Not harem, but when you go into one of those Arabian night joints where you got the bed with the
harem. Yeah.
That joint was laid out.
There's a harem. Yeah.
Yeah. But see here, in my case, I didn't go out when I was in Baltimore, meaning I didn't have to go out and peddle or propagate because I did carpentry work. So the brother wanted to have the ayat al-Kursi, an ayat from the Quran, posted above the masjid. So I had did the work in carving, jigsaw carving, to make it happen. Mm. So I stayed in so I can get green room pretty much, when I wanted. With my girl at the time.
Oh, wow.
Now, that was there, but hold on.
Green room.
In Baltimore, and you can ask Unc this because, Unc sees us around all the time.
Yeah.
Down in Baltimore, there's a place called the Reservoir. So when the brothers come in from working all day, walking, pedaling, or wherever they set up in their spot, they take their girl, and you can walk down to the reservoir, which is peaceful, tranquil, cool breeze, dark, in a park. Now I'll say it, but I told my son this too. My son,
path of glory.
My first son was conceived on a bench Yeah, the reservoir in Baltimore.
What? Why y'all ain't go to the, was you an Ansar then?
Well, at that time, you know, somebody else was doing the green room. You know, you go up there, you just spending. You listen.
Well, hold on though. You was a Muslim though. You was an Ansar at that time, correct?
Well, at that time we were coming out of Ansar Allah. We were known then.
Okay.
Back then, Holy Tabernacle Ministries hadn't fully developed. It was just called the Nuwaubian Hebrews.
Yeah, yeah. I kind of.
So a lot of brothers would take the girls down there, and, you know, get busy down in the park because it was dark. You know, it was isolated. And why go through all this? Because a lot of guys didn't like the idea of having another dude who might not like you, or he may be jealous of you, or might even want your girl, giving you access to the green room.
Oh yeah, so
I'll just go down to, you know, to the park, baby. We just go and do what we did when we was teens.
That's messed up, though, man. Yeah, I mean, it's
what's wrong with a nice, warm, sweet park?
Here's
nothing wrong with that, but he should be able to go.
There's something wrong with that, brother.
Here's what it was labeled.
No, I'm saying you should be able to go in a room.
All right.
Like,
Yeah,
some people want to be private, you know. Nobody. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that, Chuck, because I've done that before.
Stop cutting him off, bro.
I'm just saying. I'm just saying what it is. Right? Whether it's right or wrong, that's on the individual. So, a lot of guys didn't like that. And so they just took it upon themselves to, you know, keep their relationship strong by keeping the intimacy alive. Because whether or not you know it, a lot of sisters broke away from the brothers because they weren't being intimate. And York had no problems with inviting sisters up to upstate to become one of his concubines.
Wow.
But see, as a Muslim, you know, he could pass that because, hey, you may not like it, but that's part of that's part of Islam. You know, if your girl goes with Doc, then she was never really your girl.
Yeah, they used to say that. If
bro, you say it all the time.
If Doc picked your wife or took your wife, then she was never.
Yeah, because I remember
she was never yours in the first place. That's what I tell you.
That sound like somebody. That sound like that's something somebody's saying now. Somebody sound like Nature Boy.
Yeah, Nature. Yeah, you know.
Yo, that's crazy, yo. Hold on. I got more questions. I got this.
Mental psychology, man.
Like the Bible, since he wrote the Holy Tablet, did he ever revise it?
He did.
The Holy Tablet?
I'm asking Chuck. Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. When the Holy Tablet was first released, there was a number of typographical errors, storylines that fell off the page, didn't make any sense. So what he did was he claimed, instead of acknowledging his error, he had said that the people who printed the publication, they were Christians and they wanted to sabotage the Holy Tablets. But hold on, let me start this off right.
Ooh, rewind that. You got a bomb? Yeah.
Oh, the Holy Tablet, right? The Holy Tablets was promoted as being a new revelation that was predicted to occur by the Honorable Elijah Muhammad.
That's what they said.
Because Elijah Muhammad gave a speech on the theology of time where he said that the Bible and the Quran must soon give way to that holy book which no man has seen.
Ooh.
And York.
Let's see where's your bombs at, brother. See, I need my bomb. I'm gonna hit my what's the name at? Okay. Yeah, go ahead. You dropping bombs right now. I'm gonna hit my hammer. There you go. Yeah. See, yeah, just do it at the same time. Go ahead. There you go. That was a bomb you was dropping right there. I'll just raise it, and then when I come down, you got it. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that was good. That was good.
Yeah. Come on, you dropping bombs right now.
So he said that.
All right, well,
man, that's deep.
So with Elijah Muhammad being because remember, Elijah Muhammad was considered the forerunner of Imam Isa or Dr. York to come. You see? So even played on the name Elijah. Elijah, the forerunner for Jesus. You know, John the Baptist was the forerunner of Jesus. You know, that kind of thing. They say, "Are you Elijah?" Remember, he said that in John chapter 8 or something like that.
Yeah.
All right, but so anyway, so the Holy Tablets was paraded as being a sacred publication, a sacred text that really, after that text, nothing else was to come. because that was a culmination of what he really had to give. Because York had this thing where he would always say, I came giving you what you want, so you learn to think on the level of what I really have to give.
Can I say something, Chuck? Like that statement always made me feel weird, yo. Because it was kind of like
made you feel weird.
Nah, but that one, that was the one. Chuck, you got to admit that. I came giving you. What? Say it one more time.
I came giving you what you want, so you learn to think on the level of what I really have to give.
Come on.
Come on. It's almost like, Doc was like, well, you wanted the Quran. You wanted the Quran, didn't you? You wanted the Torah, didn't you? You wanted to learn about the extraterrestrials, didn't you?
Exactly.
But it's so like he's saying I got 76 trillion years of knowledge. You still ain't gonna get the real knowledge.
Hold on. Chuck, did he say he has 76 trillion years of knowledge?
Yeah.
Yes, he said that he had 76 trillion years of knowledge.
Damn, that was by 76 trillion. How you gonna defeat that? It's hard. That's hard to defeat.
It is.
76 trillion.
That's why we always.
I heard some of the gods say something. I've never heard.
No. You know what it was? They say in the lessons, but we got Men Kept Raw right here. So they say in the lesson, they say 66 trillion, right? Because Doc, he added the 70 and 6 trillion. Like, but I think in the lessons, the Supreme.
What's crazy about that number is that the number 7 and 6 is basically the God and the devil. It's God and the devil.
Right.
You know that 7 is God, 6 is God.
Yeah.
Okay.
Devil. Well, so he said he got 7.
Yeah.
He said he got 76 trillion. You know what I'm saying? Years of knowledge. If you catch the mathematics, basically what he's telling you is that I possess the knowledge of both
don't follow
God
it, Lord.
and the devil.
Hold on, don't follow it.
No, I'm just breaking down the science.
Yeah, he's saying how it makes sense. It could make sense. 76 trillion years of knowledge could make you, like, if you sitting down there,
7 and 6.
It's 7 and 6 right there.
You can throw it off by the trillion.
You can throw it off.
Yeah,
with the trillion.
Right.
Okay, so 76 trillion years of knowledge. All right, Chuck, take us from the 76 trillion.
Well, the 76 trillion years of knowledge was because as a extraterrestrial being, he had the knowledge to travel from this world to the next, because all of this is illustrated and explained in a book that came out, which was very controversial, which was Man from the Planet Risk book.
Right.
In that book, he explained the 76 trillion because as a Riskian, they lived to be thousands of years old.
Yeah.
But when they come into the Earth's atmosphere, they only live to be 120.
Yep.
Facts, and that's scientific.
But hold on.
That is a science to that. With
Doc wait a minute.
Putting out there, though.
But that's based on. That was another little jab to try to put that kind of thing in the back of your mind that he is Jesus, because he said that when Jesus said, "You will find me written in the prophets," and he said the only books of the prophets will be the books of Isaiah, Jeremiah, all of those books, and the books of Moses, or you'll find me written in the book of Moses. So when it says that the so-called prophecy, where it says that my son shall not, said my seed or my son, I think it was in Genesis 6:9, I believe, where it says that my seed shall not always strive with man, for he is something, and he will, on his days should be 120 years. York was saying that to give you a thing, because he said Jesus died at age 120 on a pyramid in Egypt. I don't know how he got up there, but he said that he died on top of a pyramid.
Who said? So that we clear, because I want to make sure. He said that Jesus went up to the top of a pyramid and died.
Yes, this is also in the
Dr. York word
tablets, in the chapter of.
That's symbolic. I think when
how did you feel when you
symbolic?
Yeah, how you think that's symbolic?
Yeah, because the top of the pyramid is the capstone. So when he's saying that Jesus died at the top of the pyramid, he basically saying that Jesus died, you know what I'm saying, at the top of the pyramid. Get it?
The capstone? Why wouldn't Jesus say capstone?
Because it's using some.
Well, because he had to be mystery. He had to be
mystified.
Yeah.
He had to always keep you wondering what are the deeper meanings.
And then when you're 14 years old, which is like 13, 14. Yeah.
That was why he made so much money.
I was 14, 15 when I started reading Dr. York books.
All right, sorry. So I just want to say, this is a young mind seeing this. Probably no father guidance. You know what I mean? A lot of people don't have father guidance.
No. Hold on. With my situation with Doc was all through Islam. It wasn't no like.
Through Islam, I know we catch that, but let him finish it and we're going to go into your history with that.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Chuck.
Where was I?
We was talking about we were at the 120, right? We stopped at the 120. Go ahead.
Well, yeah. So that whole 120 thing with this subtle reference to Jesus dying at age 120, and then in the books it's that, well, as long as you're mortal, as a being from planet Risk Cracker, you are trapped here. You only live to be 120. But outside of here, you live to be thousands of years old.
I think that's actually true, though. I hate to even
no,
science out there.
I do believe in that. Yeah.
Hold on, I can't let Macabra slip. You about to go pick up a Dr. York?
No, I'm gonna tell you just based on science.
Yeah, science though.
Nah, just based on science. I'm not talking about because these are, it's crazy.
Words is powerful, yo. Give me another bomb for Dr. York words getting Macabra right now. Yeah. Go ahead, break it down, Lord. Break it down. Let's see.
Okay, well, when somebody say, that if you here on Earth, right, you can only live for 120 years. But if you outside of Earth, right, then you can live much longer. And I say, okay, well, if I look at that on the scientific level, right, I know for a fact that because we go through a constant cycle of decharge and charge in the aspect of night and day, right? We're in a constant cycle of night and day. That burns our battery out faster because we're constantly moving around.
Right.
And we have the gravitational pull on our bodies. Now you take yourself into space and you take yourself out of that, then the physical body doesn't go through those constant changes every day. You see what I'm saying? Which that's harder on the system, which makes the heart a whole lot stronger.
Right, but what you're saying is deep, but that's what Dr. York wants you to think. You know what I'm saying? Am I right about that, Chuck?
Maybe it's just a scientific theory.
Yeah,
what he's saying, what he's saying is nice, but it contradicts what York taught. It wasn't that you just come outside of Earth. You have to go to a specific planet physically. While you're physically on Earth, you're limited to 120 years. Once you are in the Nibiru and you're taken to Risk
that's how you said it?
Risk. The 8th planet in the 19th galaxy, Ilium. There you live to be like the other Riskians.
See, he would have got me, if he'd have been like, okay, we go build this ship, and I'd be like, yeah, okay, that's
because you that type, he probably got.
Been in there. I'd have been in there, been like, okay,
that's how he would have.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, there's a lot of cats like that.
But Rasul was
the
ship is
pure follower, right?
I'm not going for
that. I mean, I don't think I was totally like Chuck, because Chuck and Tahuti, those guys was actually lived in the community. I didn't live in the community,
right?
So
that's why
I always, would go up to the bookstore on 52nd and Girard, and that's how I was able to link in with the brothers and sisters up there.
That's why, to the chat room, that's why we got somebody authentic. Because exactly. Him and Unk was good.
Yeah.
And Tahuti never really broke this down. But Tahuti said something, we're going to go back on it, because Tahuti told me and AD that he strunk in front of him.
He said, "Oh man, Chuck, you got to break that down, brother."
We're gonna finish on this, and I know Tahuti's gonna come back.
Looking,
but you can't tell that man what he didn't see, though. You know what I'm saying? If he said he saw that, then that's what he saw.
All right.
So continue, my brother, because I'm gonna say the chat room is lighting up. Make sure y'all hit that super chat. Y'all can ask him any questions. Make sure y'all hit that super chat to ask any questions. Right now, we're gonna put a close to this book, because it's imperative for us to grow, and in order to grow, we have to come up out of certain things that we were formerly in.
True indeed.
You know what I'm saying? Because a lot of things that's popping around now is pseudo. A lot of things, and just like Can You Dig It said, where we going from here? You know what I'm saying? So he's
What
like,
we about to build now.
yeah, exactly. Come on. All right, go ahead, Chuck.
You dig it. Where we going?
We ain't waiting for no ships no more.
No, okay, yo, okay, since we on this plane and we're talking on this, how did Dr. Khalid Muhammad feel about Dr. York?
Oh, man, that's Dr. Khalid Muhammad.
Oh, man.
He was rolling back then.
All right. I had the pleasure of meeting Dr. Khalid several times because when I kind of broke off for a little while and I started hanging out with Steve Coakley because Steve lived in Maryland, Silver Spring. And so I was able to go and be a part of the Names Committee. And when he would give lectures at the Georgia Avenue Cafe or the Blackburn Center at Howard University, you know, we'd be rolling with him. So I had a chance to meet Khalid. Now, here's the thing. This conflict that was going on between York and Khalid stemmed from something that York started. And that was referring to, you know, the Nation of Islam's founder as being a white man. That didn't sit well because, you know, at that time, the way that Dr. Khalid was, you know,
After Effects
groomed within the organization, that made him persona non grata. So he threw a few jabs at York, and York threw a few jabs back. There was an incident that happened when I was in Georgia, where Minister Farrakhan was coming to speak at I think Brown University or some hall nearby, and some of the Nuwaubians with the feds at the time had made posters of Farrakhan and had him, you know, with his little outfit on at the time, with glittery outfit with the, you know, with the African style cap. I forget what it's called, something like a Jinnah cap, something like that. And they put a dollar bill, like dollars, like he was a charlatan. The brothers in Georgia from the Nation of Islam didn't take that too well, and then there was a fight that broke out, and someone was almost killed during that conflict. So York did about 3 audio recordings where he appealed to Khalid Muhammad, but he spoke negatively about Mr. Farrakhan, but he's saying things like, well, Dr. Khalid Muhammad, that's my God. I'll follow him before I follow that Master Farad Muhammad or Farrakhan. Because when I see Dr. Khalid, I see a black man there. You know, he was making he was still playing that trying to pin the two against each other. But that was part of that conflict. So there was a series. See, here's where it all kicked off. And anybody who was a 5%er would know this. There was a book that came out, and then it was 1, 2, 3, and a whole bunch of about 5 or 6 books came out. The one that really had an impact was a book called "Who Was Clarence Jowar's 13X?" The Book of the 5%ers.
Yeah, I remember that book.
On page 106, there's a section called "A Challenge Met," where he says that Minister Farrakhan made a challenge to anyone in the Islamic world that could prove him wrong. And then York said that he made a challenge, but then he didn't say everyone except Imam Asa of the Nubian Islamic Hebrews, but everybody else. So he said, I'm going to answer the challenge. The challenge is met. And he goes on for about 20 or 30 pages dissecting Minister Farrakhan's speech and showing the mistakes he made in history, language, etc. So that's what the whole point was, a challenge met. And he's debunking anything that Mr. Farrakhan had said. And then that brought more conflict, because then he followed that up with a book called W.D. Fard, Sheikh Dawood versus W.D. Fard. Then he followed up with another book called he followed up with a book called
The Postgraduate Lessons.
Postgraduate Renewal of the Lessons. Zigzag Zig. He followed up with that book.
Yeah, I used to use that book.
Was showing that it said that the lessons that the Nation of Islam is following is wrong and they must be revised. I, meaning York, am the reformer. I am the one to come. I am the true successor of Elijah Muhammad. So y'all need to jump from the ship and come over here with me. So the proof of that is in the postgraduate renewal of the lessons. Then he released. Now here's how he exploited people. So back in the mid-90s, he went under the name Egypt 3x3 on AOL, CompuServe and all that stuff. AOL chat rooms. All right. So whenever he logged on, we knew because we would get calls from the office saying log on and accompany the master while he's there. So he would go into different religious forums and start trolling people. Dr. York was one of the early trolls back in the 90s. So he would go to, of course, Christian groups, and then he would, this is what he would do. He would release the logs, the transcripts of the dialogues between Christians who are not scholars. These are just average Joe Blow citizens that don't really, know all the intricacies of language, et cetera, et cetera. And he would release little booklets and charge $5 to $10 called Dr. York Debates the Christians. Dr. York debates the Muslims. Dr. York debates the Nation of Islam. So he would do that, make money off of just going on the computer and arguing and trolling Christians.
He was a master publicist.
Yeah, that's what he said. Yep.
Yeah, he was a master
publicist.
Yeah.
Okay. Hold on.
Master of publicity, just putting out publicity and, because, you put out those books, like, versus the, he never really did, like, open debates, like how Sal Netter got it set up and stuff like that. Doctor never did that.
No. Yeah, he was a massive promoter. All right, here's another question for you. Who was Herman?
Huh?
Herman.
Herman?
Yeah.
What is that?
These are a couple of questions I have. Herman.
I don't know what that is.
Oh, you never know? You heard of Herman? Okay. Okay. York said Elijah Muhammad was a gray and Farad was from Venus. Was a Venus.
Yeah, I do remember that. You remember that, Chuck?
Yep.
Yeah, he said that Honorable Elijah.
I want Chuck to tell us. We got you, brother. Okay. We got you. But Chuck's here today. Chuck is here today.
It's another one of those bizarre moments that York had that leads you to wonder, what was he thinking? Hold on. What I'm gonna do, I'm gonna share the screen, and then I'm gonna walk you through it. It's real simple. It's not anything complicated. Let me go to the website, and under the section "Right Knowledge Gone Wrong," there is a publication. Well, let me give you this out real fast, and I'll find it as I go along. So what had happened was there was a class that York gave. Oh, here it is, right here. I'm going to share my screen if I may. All right.
It's another question from Kathy.
Oh, no, I mean, this is good. I appreciate the dialogue.
No doubt. No doubt. That's what it's about, man.
Because, I don't want people, I had my time,
But,
aside from all the other crazy stuff that went on, York was a funny dude.
I didn't know that.
And some of the times
I couldn't picture York laughing.
I don't know.
He's telling jokes all the time, yo.
I don't know if he was serious about half the stuff he wrote, or he's just saying, Nuwaupians at the time are so stupid they'll believe anything. Just watch this. Watch what I write. Watch it. Watch them believe. That's what I think. But a lot of guys really believe this stuff. Okay. All right. Let me try to share this.
That's crazy. Oh, the knowledge of 76 trillion years.
Okay.
Makes perfect sense.
All right. Let me share my screen now. Okay. Okay. Can you see this?
Oh yeah. Here we go. Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
Oh, man.
Ask the Nuwaupians, was the Honorable Elijah Muhammad a great extraterrestrial as Malachi York claimed?
Yeah, that's a good one. They did. I was going to put a bomb on that one. Oh, shoot.
Oh,
yo.
Yeah.
Why would he say some creek? Why would he say that?
You about to say it. That's
like I
said,
said,
what you think about that, Caporal? This is kind of crazy.
Wow, I've never seen that image before, but I swear, looking at that image, Lord.
Man, Chuck is dropping it, yo.
Coach, you think he looks like a gray? You think?
Let him finish. Let him finish. Let him finish. Go ahead.
All right, here's where it kicks off. All right.
The chat room is dying. You know, these are intelligent cats in the chat room. The chat room is dying laughing right now, yo.
Hey, they should, because you can't take this man serious.
I feel you.
Because remember now, before in 2003, before the trial, he was diagnosed as being a paranoid schizophrenic.
Didn't know that.
Yeah. But anyway, once again, Malachi York offers no evidence to support his strange beliefs, and lacking evidence is critical, according to York. They make statements about events in time, but they don't produce the evidence or the document to support what they say, which leaves the reader in the same state that are in religion, to believe but not have facts. That's in the Let's Set the Record Straight report, as you see. Now, with the above being the case, let's look at what York says in a lecture regarding Elijah Muhammad. Question, this is what a young brother had asked him in the audience. You made a statement. You said young Elijah Muhammad was a gray? Yeah, he's part gray. He's part of a breed, but he's brown skinned. And I explained that also in the book. You gotta while you guys gotta read. When you see one with brown skin, you know that it's a gray. Grays have beard. Hold up. Grays have bred into them. You follow? He's not a part of the seed of the Meldekians transported here by the dolphins which are really called Put. That's not what he is. Reach me here. Reach from here, something like that. So the point he was making was he is a gray, but he's not. He's a mixed breed. He's mixed. So he's like a part of a group called Meldekians.
Yeah. I remember he said it. He's a Meldekian.
Yeah, he's a Meldekian.
Wow.
So he always said that Elijah Muhammad looked like a gray.
Men Kepra, what you think? What you think?
No,
man?
because he was trying to.
You sit down there, you was tripping. You tripping, right?
I mean, I'm just looking at it. I'm just. I mean,
what you think?
I've never looked at it from that aspect.
You think he looks like a gray?
Nah, but see, you brother, you entertaining all that.
It's the way he's saying it. It's just the way he's saying it. Doesn't look like a gray. I'm not saying he looks like a gray. I'm asking if Men Kepra think he looks like a gray. Because in the answer, he kind of paused. I just want to,
I'm just looking at it, Lord. I'm just looking at it. I'm just.
All right, look.
Continue.
Check this out. Now, look, what you said earlier, this is another part. He said that W.D. Farr on W.F. Muhammad, he was a Venetian who came as a god to seek out the lost tribe of Shabazz. He's saying that Master Farr Muhammad was from the planet Venus.
Was from Venus.
He said,
Master. In the whole tablet.
Yeah, is it? Yeah, he does. You don't remember that, priest?
But I'm just saying, he just said that with no sources. You have to back stuff up with
no sources.
He just came out of nowhere.
No source. That's what he said. You ever see the Holy Tablets before?
No, I've never seen it.
I'll show it to you.
Now, he's never offered any sources.
That's just opinions that he had. And I guess similar characteristics that the Grays and Elijah Muhammad possess.
Yeah. Well, there's Krill. He said, didn't Doc say he was related to Krill in some kind of way?
No.
That's Bob Cooper right there, isn't it?
No, what he said was.
What he said about Krill?
What he said was that Krill. I'm going to show you before I do that. Krill is a person that he claimed that visited him in jail when he was in Jones County. This Krill is the same person because Bill Cooper spoke about Krill before you.
Yeah, that's what I said. Look, they look like Bob Cooper.
Yeah, that's William Cooper right there.
Yeah, William Cooper, yeah.
Behold the Pale Horse.
Facts.
Bill Cooper talks about how Krill came, met with Eisenhower, and then he showed him a video of Jesus being crucified and all this other crazy stuff. So York says that this is released by way of the Nuwaupians on a website that they had. And there were letters that York wrote while he was in Jones County. And he was talking about, this is shortly after the trial, and he starts talking about his hereditary angioedema, and that they cured him, and that it was krill. Who are they? Where are they? That was when he said he floated out of his cell. So it was the beings from Zeta Reticuli, Alamar, krill, and Sa'at. Or Sa'at.
That's how they used to talk? Sa'at.
You know what's crazy though? I'm sitting here, I'm thinking about everything that y'all talking about. And the movie that keep popping into my mind is District 9. You ever seen District 9?
Nah, but it is a movie though.
Yeah,
this is a movie. This is crazy.
And it's the way that he's explaining it with the planet Nibiru and stuff like that. It's like somebody probably took that and put that in their movies, because in the movie District 9, it's an actual spaceship that's there that only the aliens know how to operate, but they can't operate it because they're like the lower class of the society, and the upper class of the society has vanished.
Right.
So it's the spaceship is right there, but they don't know how to access it.
Right. But it seems to me that Dr. York lived in this world, and he was telling all y'all, and you too, Chuck, you know what I'm saying? He was telling y'all that this stuff was to grab, to grab y'all attention or make y'all. I mean, what's the ultimate goal? Do you think I got so many questions, man. This is good, man. This is real good.
We can do a part 2.
Yeah, we definitely could, man. We definitely got to. When did you realize when you were in the cult?
When did I?
Yeah.
You got some ear.
Yeah. Or do you think it was a cult, or do you still think it wasn't a cult? I mean, what do you think? It was a spiritual group?
It was in every way, shape, and form, it was a cult. I mean, the general term we used to identify a charismatic leader who had control over his followers and who looked at him as being godlike, yeah, it was a cult. And he said it was a cult. He said on the audio recording called Why We Used Islam, he said that I had to come up with a cult. I said I have to create a cult that would isolate itself from the Christians, so so I can keep the Christians away. It'll be enough to keep the Hebrews, the Israelites away. It'll be enough to keep the Islam away. And I had to come up with images. He said he had to come up with. I'm paraphrasing. He had to come up with a symbol. And he said, I have to, first of all, I have to call it the Nuwaubian Islamic Hebrews. And then you have to give it an image. That'll do it. And it had to be a star, which would be a 6-pointed star, a crescent, and an Ankh.
And shout out to brother Ankh.
And he got, and as we all know, that image is nothing more than the symbol or the logo of the I think the Thule Society.
The Tula Society, yeah. Theosophical Society. Yeah, because
Theosophy, yes. It was all of it was Theosophy, but yeah, that was what he used. He used Helena Blavatsky's old logo with the infinity logo of the snake consuming its tail, along with the 6-pointed, it's on the website. I got
symbolism,
it sounds to me, before I say what my man just hit me with, because they got questions, man. And did Dr. York get his knowledge from someone else?
Dr. York,
well,
no, I'm asking him. He's the guest. Go ahead.
Well, see, York, you got to understand, York was a multimillionaire.
Wow.
York had access to things, publications that the average person didn't. So he spent a lot of money on books that like $500, $1,000 books. And then he would take bits and pieces of it and parlay it into the doctrine, and at times pass it out and then play with it and trick it a little bit, that it would constantly be a yearning for more knowledge. You kept, listen, York was feeding us. We were like addicted to knowledge. So he always had an answer. He was constantly giving us that knowledge. Right knowledge. Oh, man, right knowledge. Right knowledge, brother.
Yeah. Because he was sharp with the pen.
Yo, Yeah,
but
this
wait
is
a minute.
good.
I'm
This
glad
is
you
good.
said that. I'm glad you said that about the pen.
Mm.
Because York said in the opening in the Holy Tablets, it's called a personal note from the author, where he says what the things that you will find within this writings is not done by way of him. It is those masters who guides his pen.
Wow.
Now,
Wow.
now on the website, you'll see there's one of my latest articles. I pointed out that York, his pen was guided by Zechariah Sitchin. York's pen was guided in Nuwaupu under Amanubi Rakata. York's pen was guided under Moors by way of Noble Drew Ali. Why? Because remember, well, I don't know if you remember this. York said that he had multiple beings that spoke through him. Because he claimed that he was an individual. I haven't used the word so many years. It was he was
Eli Mujata Jassid, right?
Ila Muta Jassid. I don't forget Arabic half. But anyway.
Sue, you well versed in. You remember all of that stuff.
Yeah,
Good.
I remember.
Those beings that spoke through him, he said in 1998, he said that 3 additional beings speak through him. Clarence 13X of the 5% Nation, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, and Noble Drew Ali. They have personified in him, and they told him, Asa, go out and set the record straight about me. Clear up my name. That's what York said. Wow. So he released the books that Drew Ali, the hardback book, the Holy Quran Circle 7, of course, the Problem Book, and of course, the Book of the 5%ers. All of these were hardback books that he sold for, I think it was $50. Holy Tablets were $50. And all he did was just a few footnotes and then just copied everything else from whatever's in their publication and little add-ons. So York was getting information by way of the sisters who did all the research for him from other sources, and they combined it and put it together into the doctrine.
Oh.
So they would plagiarize. I mean, plagiarism was nothing, because who's going to go? First of all, York's books weren't released in places like Barnes and Noble, Borders Books, Crown, or any of those. It wasn't from any reputable publisher. This is self-published. This is, you go to a printer and get your book printed, and then you just keep it printing, and people constantly buying them. So a Zechariah Sitchin is not going to file a copyright complaint on a book that is only being sold to Negroes.
We had Dr. Josh Bowen on it, and he talked about how some of how some of Zechariah Sitchin stuff was a little off.
Yeah.
And this is what it's like. This is who you chose to get your name your company after. You remember Jay-Z said that? Yeah. But it's like, dag, man, that's crazy. I did the Jay-Z quote because, I mean, a Nas quote. Yeah. Oh, yeah. He said, this is who you name your company after, and this is who Dr. York was following most of the time. That's crazy. Man, this is so much information. I'm gonna do this before we start our tea break. I don't know if you got a break, but this is great, man, because we love to keep it.
I got my orange juice.
Okay, you got your orange juice. We're gonna do a quick tea break, but as we doing it, I'm gonna do something different, because when we doing it, I just want to say I forgot the brother name who called in last time.
Who?
You know him.
Garfield?
Nah, who called in and it said you was on the phone. My man.
Oh, you talking about Cuban Crisis?
Yeah, Cuban Crisis. He said Herman was an alien, that would come through his walls as a preteen to give him knowledge. This was told to me from his ex Ansar from Boston.
I don't know.
That's from him.
That's too much. I don't
All right,
you know what that's called?
Yeah.
Those are called the hadiths of Imam Isa.
There it goes. There it goes. All right, so AD, you can start with AD. What you drinking? First of all, you got OJ. You drinking OJ?
Yeah.
Okay. We're gonna drink some green matcha tea. I got a brand new matcha tea as we going through this. Yo, Killa Priest podcast is going down right now, yo.
We got 580 viewers too.
Yeah, man. And y'all can hit y'all subscribe, man. I know y'all got questions to the best chat room in the building. Shout out to everybody. This is what we doing. Matcha. I pre-did it, so we're gonna do it. Let me get a little hot right here. What you drinking, AD?
I got a little bit of Mexican Coca-Cola.
El Coco.
It's delicious.
Coca-Cola, huh?
Yeah, real sugar.
You know,
feeling good.
Coca-Cola is the taste from the extract really come from Africa.
Oh, I bet.
Oh yeah, Coca.
No, not
what they call it? Coca.
No, I'll get the name. I'll get the name.
All right. I'm gonna let it do. Last time it got crazy hot, remember?
Yeah.
But this is brand new. And I put some. I'm gonna tell you right now. I put turmeric in this one. So I put some turmeric powder in this one. Shuffled it up. Now we about to go into another zone. All right, AD, you can start the music when you want. It's because it's warm, but I'm gonna let it get a little hot. Yo, Chuck, man, this is great, yo. You dropping some knowledge, man. Some real deep knowledge, man, that we never knew. I know he was in Bushwick.
Ask him what kind of weaponry did they teach about? Did they teach about weaponry?
It did.
They had the Mujahideen, or the swords of Islam. Am I correct, Chuck?
Yep.
You think Dr. York can fight? What he studied? The master of the art? Like
I know, wasn't he in Vietnam or something like that? He said he was in Vietnam.
No, York never said
I seen him in like a unit. You know, he says all
No. The Mujahid or Mujahideen, the
I'm gonna take it out here.
These were some of the guys that were
so I won't get too
security. And then he formed this group that was centered around fighting the Sunnis.
You can finish playing the music again.
Attack on Ansar.
Oh, he's dropping some knowledge. Oh, okay. We'll do it different this time. Yo, Chuck, since you the guest, you can say the toast, or what we call it, the C mantra. We lift up your glass. We usually do this to everybody that's home. If you're in front of your computer, if you're in front of your desk, we are going in today. Chuck Morgan is going in. Shout out to Unc, he's in the building too, and everybody up there. Shout out to the chat room. And you can say whatever's on your mind, brother. We're gonna toast to you.
Hey, brother, cheers to some good people and some good times to come.
Thank you, man.
Salute.
Salute.
Free Bill Cosby.
Oh, you're home. Oh, this is real, right?
Nah, that's good.
This tastes like golden right here, man.
Golden tea.
Yeah, this is green tea.
Good company make good wine.
That's right. Good company make good wine. I like that. They say once you drink tea, it's good for you. The second time you drink tea, it's a tradition. The third time you drink it, it's treasure.
It's treasure. Wow.
So we in the treasure mode right now.
Treasure mode.
Wow. All right.
Crazy AD. Shout out to AD in the building, man.
Yeah.
Hey, look, what I'm saying, any answer, any old time I can tell you, say, they know this. All I'm doing is just saying stuff. All the guys knew it. Anybody that was in, they know this stuff.
Nobody want to talk about it, right?
Yeah, I mean, for whatever reason, some people just don't want to talk about it. But hey, if people want to know, I don't have no problem talking about it. So hey.
That's real. Man, you going in, bro.
I mean,
Yo, Dr. York said this, and I want to hear this from one of Dr. York's statement. I want to hear this from Chuck. He said, York said once that anyone who gets on the mothership has to weigh a certain weight. Is this true?
I don't know. I've never heard that.
Has to weigh a certain amount.
Oh, yeah, I did that. Yeah. Because you could. Oh, yeah, I remember that. You couldn't be fat going on the beer.
It couldn't be. No, this is beautiful right here. Yo, you heard that, AD? Let's get that one again. You could be fat when you jump onto the beer room. All right, break that down to us, brother. Break that down to us.
Nah, couldn't. I guess because you
weigh shit down.
Yeah, shit, man. I thought the ship was celestial. Yeah. Yeah.
No fat people.
Well, he would say it was a ship, and then he would say it was an orb. He would always come and change it up all the time what the Nibiru was, down the line as we went on. Because people would go into class sometime on Savior's Day, and people would ask questions, and, he would have,
where's the ship at?
Yes. So he would get bombed sometime. I mean, not bombed.
Listen, I have seen York drunk I've seen York drunk.
Yo, you seen Yo? Whoa,
He said the truth.
You seen him drunk?
Go ahead.
Look, let me tell you something.
Oh man.
Remember when
You tripping Rasul out because Rasul is all this is new to him.
You seen him drunk?
Hey, Rasul, man, we can kick it anytime, you know.
Oh man, because like
Rasul, I think I mean you make AD look like he's a supreme
what?
AD as far as following the flat Earth. AD's on top now because you was a real.
I was a Nuwaupian, yes.
Yeah, straight up.
I still got the crowns at the house.
But you just hearing this for the first time.
Now, I didn't know he got drunk though. This is like when Jordan Maxwell said William Cooper was a drunk.
Yeah,
Jordan Maxwell said that. Jordan Maxwell said William Cooper, who wrote the Behold the Pale Horse, he said he was a drunk.
Now let's not get off of.
I'm not saying York was a alcoholic.
No, he just seen him drunk.
You seen him drunk, right?
Wow, he couldn't drink.
No.
Well, see, that was the thing.
Well, no, he can't drink. He's Melchizedek. He don't need to drink. You want to take me there? That's how we looked at him. He can't. If I seen Doc with a,
it's coming out. Let him get it out. Let him get his York out.
If I would have seen Doc with a Budweiser, yo, that would have ruined it for me. I probably would have been like, yo, man, yo, this guy's crazy, yo. I wouldn't have never. I wouldn't. Nah. If I would have seen Doc,
that's why he didn't let you see him. Now let's go back to the previous program.
That's why he didn't let you see him.
Yeah, but because he wanted you, to continue following as you did till 5 minutes ago. Now I don't know if you still might do.
I don't follow nobody.
But he almost got McKepera, man. McKepera is a strong brother. McKepera he breaking it down because I can understand when you listen to some of the knowledge that he's saying.
Yeah.
It's like, yo, this is crazy.
Yeah.
Until you had to go into the green room. You know what I'm saying? Or something like that. It'll caught you out there. All right, continue. All right, you seen York drinking, right? Take us from there. Take us. We with you, brother. I'm with you walking with him drinking. We're going to walk this slow. He's drinking. He's having a drink with us.
I'm not saying that York was an alcoholic. There's nothing like that. I'm just saying that he would say that there's nothing wrong with drinking Zinfandel. Matter of fact, we would always have that when we would do this, the Shabbat. When we was pretending to be Hebrews, we had the Sabbath. So, we had to go down to the Jewish joint and get some Zinfandel. We would get the kameez. And we had all that. And there was a class one time in 95. York, it was on audio, it was on video. York was drunk. He was jumping up and down on the stage, showing some of my faggoty guys in the homosexuals who be in the choir, and they were singing, and then you had this get the mood going, and then the big fat woman jump up with her titties bouncing up and down, and jump like that, and York was a funny dude.
Oh, this is lovely. York was partying drunk, and you jumping up with that girl's titties.
Chuck,
you can't get this nowhere else, yo.
What's the name? I remember that lecture. I had that on. I had it on tape. I forget what it was called though. Yeah, but he was talking about, because he would make fun of the Christians all the time. That's what Doc thing was.
I told y'all, man, the Christians gonna make a comeback, yo.
Christian congregation. He would making a comeback.
Everybody getting on
the culture. Real tough.
Yeah. Let me stay on it.
Just stay on it. We don't want to get off.
Because all right, so I'm with you right now. We all drinking with Dr. York, and he's talking about girls' titties and jumping up and down. No, this is what happened, and this is what he was there and he saw this, because there's certain people probably just finding the book for the first time. AD, you ever heard of Dr. York until this?
I have not.
Thank you. So it's like certain people was just coming up on this for the first time, and it's crazy that you got to come up out of that. And it's hard when you sometimes some people wouldn't, but in the 90s it was crazy. You know what I mean? All this new information, no computers really.
Man, it's an old saying, man, that's on the Behold the Pale Horse book, and I've never forgot it. It says, be careful of how much trust you put in the leaders, because you lose your ability to know when you've been deceived.
Chuck, have you heard that? When you've been deceived, it seems like Chuck is on point. He's out of that.
It makes sense to me.
Yeah. All right. Hold on. I got one more. I got another one. Those pyramids that he built.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I want.
Let's talk about that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now I say,
Nah, brother, I want to hear from him. We're gonna let you come on at the end, and you can say what you feel.
All right.
But I want this brother to break down this, because you tell us this most of the time, all the time. But now we got somebody real who's been in the middle of it and knows stuff that you didn't even know Dr. York was drunk.
yeah, well, I'm not. That's because I'm a student. See, because I really looked at him like
Melchizedek.
like Melchizedek. I looked at him like you know what I'm saying, Chuck. We believed in him.
Yeah.
We felt like we were doing the right thing. We were spreading the information.
Do you still believe him?
No.
Okay.
No.
You said that was a breakthrough right there. Make some noise for Rasul. You just came out of it.
I didn't just come out of it. I been came out of it.
Nah, man, we're gonna give you a props.
Yeah.
You give me your flowers now. All right. Go ahead, Chuck. Finish.
See, we gotta go through Chuck.
Yeah. So the pyramid. I'm looking at the screen at the same time. Okay. So the pyramid wasn't a brainstorm that York came up with because he saw the Century 21 building in Eatonton, downtown Eatonton.
What?
And so he just, hired the guys that built it, and he built it on the land. A lot of the brothers came after the fact and started putting all the Egyptian and made, painting it and make it look like it's some kind of ancient ruin.
Oh.
And the Black Pyramid, that was in part of the brothers and a construction company that they hired. And
Wow.
that took a lot of work. I mean, because I was working on the Black Pyramid, and all it was just a store. It was just on the inside. It was just a storage locker. Meaning it had a bunch of junk in there. We was moving the stuff from one silo to the next. It was just. And then when Savior's Day came around, they made it look like some kind of religious joint that you go in. If you go into the Black Pyramid, you come out, all like that. That was all. But it was nothing more than just like a storage joint. They had a bunch of trash in it most of the time.
Well, you want to say something about that? Because we all looked at Dr. York as, he built that. That's hard. But
Nope.
coming.
Nope.
So you saying that
unless if you're looking at my screen, unless you look at this building in downtown Eatonton, which was the exact same building that the white folks built.
Yeah.
Wow. So
I mean, to me, it's like
yep.
When I first saw the building, I was like, wow, that's amazing that brother built that. But then as I, started thinking more and more, I was like, why the hell did that brother build that? You know what I'm saying? In that image and that likeness, because it's like, I mean, I get the concept of why you're doing it because of what you're striving to represent. But then at the same time, it's like, if you're going to do it, go ahead and do it in its proper form.
Is that built in the same dimensions as the actual Great Pyramid?
Huh?
Is it built in the same, dimensional ratio as the Great Pyramid? In other words, the angle.
Might got one.
Is it, it's supposed to be like a 45-degree angle, isn't it? Because I know the shape of it itself is a technology. Like the pyramids.
As far as the dimensions are concerned, I'm not sure.
Okay, I was curious.
But I would say whatever the people down at Century 21, however they wanted it done, that was how it was done.
Got you.
He's putting candy in front of the kids. That's what it is,
Yeah.
So that's what it sounded like to me.
It's
but at the time, it was cool because that was our thing.
Right. That's actually dope.
Yeah, look.
But it's when you see the thing, because I thought he built it.
That looks pretty accurate to the original with the 51 degrees.
Yeah. But he just showed where it came from, the skeleton of it in the pro.
Yeah, that was it traces its origins here.
Yeah.
In Georgia. Because right downtown Eatonton, Georgia, the exact same thing is there.
But let me ask you a question. Is that pyramid that he built, that's the capstone, isn't it? The one the image on there, isn't that the capstone of Ansar?
I don't know. I don't study.
You talking about on the? You talking about the?
Now, when it was
type that in AD.
Pyramid, let me say this.
You talking about the replica?
Yeah, the replica. That one right there.
Okay.
Oh,
like this pyramid here.
Yeah.
The black one.
Yeah.
Initially, it was a mistake because it was crooked.
like the bent pyramid.
Done right. So they had to flip it. Eventually they repaired it, and they had to put some kind of thing on top of it to make it look like it was. When it was so messed up, they had a piece of metal that
type of capstone.
It was a mistake, but they made it look like it was okay, and then they put speakers underneath it, and they would bellow out an Om chant.
I remember that. Yep.
And then after that, it was a chant of Jesus all night.
The chant of Jesus. Yeah. Wujau spoke about that. I wasn't around then.
Ansar's capstone.
Yeah.
So you mean to tell me he had, instead of the Om chant, he had Jesus love Jesus. He had gospel music playing through the pyramid.
You see it?
That's when he started to lose. That's when I think Doc started to lose his mind, yo.
That's my next question. My next question to you is: Did Doc? Because this is what I heard. This is what I saw on YouTube. I heard that Doc.
That's exactly what it is.
That's the capstone. That's Ansar's capstone right there, the real one. And then if you look at the one that the one that they built on, the one they built on the land, the wings at the top.
Oh, he was imitating that.
Yeah. That's why I say that, because that's when I saw it. I was like, yeah, that looks like.
Nobody say he ain't deep. That brother, he was deep. Dr. York was deep.
Okay.
But that brings me into this because this. I have to talk about this, man. We have to get it all out. Did Dr. York turn Christian at the end?
Yeah.
I'm asking him. I look at you, but I'm asking him. I'm looking at your reaction because I already know that it's hard for Rasul to take all of this.
I already knew this though.
Shaky. Okay.
I knew this already. I did
see one.
I knew all of this already, yo.
What was your answer?
Yes.
I already knew all.
He turned Christian, like a Christian, like Jesus is my savior.
Yeah, man.
This is very interesting. Very interesting. Take me through this. I didn't want to believe that.
Yeah.
There was an audio, and here's the proof. There was an audio recording called "You Want to Question Me, and I Taught You."
That sound like
on that audio, it talks about Nuwaubian. He said that he was very comfortable in Egyptology. He knew what he was talking about. But if Jesus touches your heart, you got to give it up.
Yeah.
Hold on, hold on.
Play. You got the audio, Chuck? Play.
I don't have the audio, but
the chat room, Doc. Yo, Doc, you got to see. Who's that? Doc Moons. Look at Doc Moons emoji.
Somebody say it was a Christian.
He got the big face.
Yo,
he got the big eyes on there. Doc.
Yo, in the audio tapes, he would make other Nuwaupians feel bad about
docking them
because a lot of us is like, yo, what the hell is going on, and this, that, and the third, and they had the big Jesus. Like, you go down to the land and it was pictures of Jesus and
what's wrong with that? He wants to get saved.
Nah,
360 degrees.
Nah, man, we was already learning about the Egypt. We was heavily into the Egyptian sciences and Kemetic science. He just flipped the script and he came to class talking about he had a dream. Remember that, Chuck?
Yep.
And he said he's seen Christ and all this stuff.
Well, he said no. He said that he was watching on the Word channel.
Yeah, that's what he said.
And on the Word channel, there was a preacher preaching, and then he looked in the camera and said,
"Yo, look, listen to this shit, yo."
And this is Melchizedek, God in the flesh, watching TV.
Hold on, repeat that again, Chuck.
He said on the lecture that he was watching the Word channel. And there was a preacher, a black preacher preaching, and then he was talking about the power and glory of Jesus. And he said he looked to the camera and said, "I'm talking to you, Malachi." And he's like, "Oh," he felt like that man was talking to my heart, and I have to accept Jesus.
Dang.
Just like that.
Just like that.
Just hit him straight off.
He can do it just like that. But here he would now on that audio, which was electric. This is one of the last recordings that he had before he got arrested, because it was done in 2002.
Right.
And can I share my screen?
Yes.
Folks can
I'm so excited. I'm doing an AT job. I'm like, yes. Show that. We get that later on.
I wish you could find that audio. You
it's online. As a matter of fact, I put it online. You go to my YouTube channel.
Yeah, let's go to
and
YouTube.
You see I played it. The whole
the
audio.
Chat room is dying. The chat room is dying laughing already.
TV spoke to him.
Okay, so where he started? Okay, let's see where I start. This is part of the transcript of it. That's why he said. That's why personally I believe that all the stuff I've done, God said I need you. I don't need you preaching Egyptology. I don't need you preaching this. I need you because you got languages in your head. You have been all over the world. You're a Shriner. You've been a Freemason. I need you in my army to go out there and wake up some of my children. It wasn't my plan. I was quite content. At least I thought I was content outwardly, but I wasn't. I hadn't had it solved inside. Sounds good, talking about Egyptians, Atun Ra, Beset. You sound deep. Netrus, the Anunnaki, and Enlil. You finished with all that? You finished with all that crap? You finished studying and passing all that? It was necessary because now nobody can fool you with it.
Yeah.
Right? And then here you go. He says that Pop told us. Now this is what he's saying. Pop told us that years ago. Pop told us that years ago. Pop is that, and keep on saying that Pop's told us that. Pop's told us that. Pop comes and says, now it's time to turn to Jesus Christ. I want to ask y'all a question. Why? I want to get some fine details all of a sudden. Yeah, this is him. This is what he's saying so that we bite it and say, okay, well, I guess we're Christians now.
Right, Richard, right?
I said, now you need fine detail, because he's saying that I said all this stuff back in there, but all of a sudden now you want fine detail because you're in doubt. And you want somebody to blame for your weakness in faith. So you blame it on the changes we went through. Changes we went through was necessary so that you could not be tempted by the devil. The many schools of thought from Muslim to Hebrew is so nobody could fool you. Don't look at what I'm doing and say, why? Say, thank you. Now it's going to be the next step, and you want to fight me like you have a chance. He goes on. Okay, let me just go on. Okay.
We have 5.
And here's another thing: when people talks about, well, I don't believe anything, you know, because that was one of the things we always said that, well, brother, what do you believe in? I don't believe in nothing. And then he said this about the people who believe. He said, that's where facts come in. Faith and power. If you ain't got no faith, let me tell you something about the people who say, Pop, you said we're not supposed to believe. Be naive, right? You see that book? Any book you read, you must believe it has something you want to learn before you open it. So you had to believe the black book had something you want to learn. You had to believe any book I wrote. So when you say we don't believe, you know, fool, don't fool yourself, because you read it. You had to believe there was something in, therefore you got, and one thing, so a fact that you believe in the facts, you still was a believer and you still had faith.
Now I got to be fair with Dr. York, though. I got to be fair to him. Do you think that he did this because that case was coming up?
Yep. Just like Ted Watson did. Just like anybody who's got to go to prison or in prison, they feel that if I can pretend to be a Christian, I can get out.
Yeah.
Or if I go in, maybe they'll have sympathy or leniency.
And that'd be the complete opposite, though.
Wow.
That'd be the complete opposite.
I mean,
right.
To set the stage, this was during a time when he already knew what was coming. And because a lot of the kids who, or by this time they were late teens, they were already out on the streets talking about this stuff when it took place in Georgia and upstate.
Wow.
So it was already out there. So people who knew didn't say anything, right? But we knew something was going on. Something was coming.
Let me ask you a question. Was it any other brothers that was part of the organization that felt like they was willing to fight to keep that man free?
People say they said it, but when it came down to test it, didn't happen.
So he never built up an army. So basically, everything he built on was just mysticism. It
was all talk. Because the brothers, they did have guns at the pylons when you come into the the land, you had brothers, and they did shoot. They had guns. They did have automatic weapons, but they lacked courage.
Wow.
Sound like Yahweh ben Yahweh. Live in Miami. That's crazy, man.
Well, I mean, that's a whole other story.
Yeah, exactly.
Let me get into that right now.
You wasn't even part of that, right?
I wasn't with the Yahwehs, but I was in Florida when they when a lot of stuff was going on in Okalaka. So people would see Ansar, they would see us, and they would think we were Yahweh. And they would throw stuff. Yeah. They would throw rocks at us. They would throw bottles at us, say, "You go Yahweh, and we go my way."
You go Yahweh. Coincidence, no pun intended. That's crazy. Man, oh man. Oh.
So with your, all this stuff, with being an extraterrestrial and all this crazy mess, man. And then he started going around because he started going nuts because once he got a hold of Zechariah Sitchin's writings, man, dude just lost his mind because he did everything that Sitchin said. He put in the books, word for word, word for word, word for word.
Wow! So he's not even original.
I got another question.
No, it wasn't even original.
Wow!
Everything that Sitchin said about the Nibiru, York said it, but York he exaggerated and said that Nibiru actually is coming to Earth to collect gold to take back to the planet Risk because the ozone layer in one of the three suns in Ilium caused the ozone layer to deplete. So they had to come down to the planet Earth in order to mine for gold. So Zechariah Sitchin was right, but he didn't give you the whole story.
Right.
Okay, so
that's what he said about that.
That's what he said about.
He said because York said he was an Anunnaki.
Wow.
Yeah, he was the grandson of Anu.
He said he was the grandson of Anu. That makes him Marduk.
Marduk, right.
He was the hero of the Babylonian tablets.
What? So y'all basically learned about Sumerians, but with him being the actual being.
He was the god, yeah.
And then, because you hear Marduk, and then he's like, yeah, that's me. And then you have to do research, or he just told you where it came from?
No, he said all this stuff. He always had to be the man at the top.
Right. Sounds like a good old-fashioned cult leader.
We know as you go further into this thing, I learned, because I'm studying Sumerian now.
Right.
And so the grammar, because I don't want to just jump in and know all the symbols. I don't know the meanings behind them and the grammar and how it's working, transliteration, translation. So when I looked at it and started going back, so if you go to the website, you see a lot of stuff not focused on ancient Kemet or Egypt, is more focused on Sumerian, Babylonian, Akkadian, all that kind of stuff. That's my thing, because I have been involved, well, not directly. I first started watching the episode of Gilligan's Island, and that was my initiation into the whole thing about cuneiform.
Well, that's fire. And, you said Gilligan does sound like Gilgamesh. Gilgamesh Island. I said the word Gilligan does sound like Gilgamesh.
Yeah. That dangerous phonetic thing.
All right,
so when he was saying that it was probably being an Anunnaki, and I finally looked up and I checked the word and looked at it in different texts, and I said, the word Ki is not even there, because Zechariah Sitchin was saying that Anunnaki means from Anu to Ki, and meaning Anu to Earth. Ki is a determinative. So when you look at a word, it follows, huh?
No, I was telling him it was going to be hot. Go ahead, continue, brother.
Yeah. So if you see this character Ki, it's denoting land, and then you're talking about say you say or is not pronounced, so as a determinative not pronounced, so you say Orim Ki. So when you see it in the text, you'll see or, and then you see that little character, and you know that it's talking about a place, like a land where something is. So when it says Anunnaki, you don't see the land. You don't see it. You don't see that. Hold on. Let me do this real quick. I want to. Okay. Let me show you something. All right. So, it's no big deal. Okay. So when you look at the word, all right. So you look at the word this is how you spell it. Anunnaki, right? Mm-hmm. Anunnaki. All right. So, but when we look at, we don't see this this logogram right here. We don't see this key. We don't see key here. What we see is something else. So you look at like key. All right, can you see that?
Yes.
All right, let me show you something real quick.
Well, this is it, bro. This is brother going in.
All right, so the D. So whenever you see it, like if you go to the electronic text corpus of Sumerian literature, they have the translation and the transliteration. The transliteration has a whole mass of funny words all jumbled up in it. And the average person is not going to do that unless you study the grammar of Sumerian. So you see this little character in the superscript.
AD.
A little D. Yeah, D.
I'm gonna hit you with a bomb, brother, for that one.
So, and so you have a little D.
It's collapse.
This word here. Let me show you something real quick, real fast. You see this. This is what you see. In all of the text corpuses of the word Anunna, because it's not Anunnaki, it's Anunna.
Yeah, Anunna.
Why is it Anunna? Because this word, this determinative, which is not pronounced, is a representation of a divine name or deity. This is the divine. So that's before that. So what comes after that is going to be a deity. This syllable here, is water or liquid or sperm. You see, that's what that represents. This right here, this right here, let me see if I have it right. Okay. These little characters, this one right here, this is Nun. And Nun is the word that's used for a priest, royalty, a nobleman, a priest or priestly. All right. Now this right here, Na Ki, or actually it's K, because the E in Sumerian is pronounced with like an A. So when you see E, you're actually seeing A. So it's K, K4. Okay, these are for grammatical purposes to tell the story of what's taking place over here. When you read the transliteration, it's not like you read it going straight on through. What you're seeing is a swivel. So this Na here, I say, this is Na.
This is hard. This is fire right here.
I'm reaching at a point because I think it's relative to showing that York didn't know what he was talking about. And by consequence, neither did Sitchin. Okay. Sorry, my writing was kind of thrown off.
It's so
anyway,
good, brother.
So this right here, see, what they do is you'll see two N's, right? In Sumerian grammar, if this is a consonant, so what they do is before they add a vowel, they have to reduplicate the N. You're not going to even notice this. You're not even recognizing this. You're dealing with the A. And this represents how when it's the same way it's a, what's the word is it? It's to represent to be of something. So when they do it in translation, they'll say that Anunna were the priestly seed. Where they'll say Nun is of, let's say, the seed, this is the sperm, to be of the gods. Or the priest seed of the god. Priestly, priest seed of, this is not part of the term. This is just for grammatical reasons. And when they're reading it, it goes like, it swivels like that. So we know that this is a god. So to be of the god, you have to be of the priestly seed, which is Nun. You can find all that in any Sumerian grammar book.
Yo, Chuck, you just went in. Oh man, that was beautiful, brother. Yo, and you on crazy on point. You know, I talked to Dr. Josh Bowen on the phone, man, and he was saying similar stuff, and it was like, yo, you actually broke that down. That was beautiful, bro. Word, that's.
I like Josh. I mean, I read his book. I take his classes.
Oh yeah.
Online. So he's something. I like
you
it.
gotta
I like
check
him.
him out.
Yeah, Dr. Josh.
It's cool people. It's cool people.
Yeah,
but I in doing
wanna...
this stuff, I was able to reach out to a lot of Assyriologists because, believe it or not, a lot of these guys, you just hit them up, they'll hit you back.
Right.
On academia.com, you know, I touched base with people. I got all kinds of scholars that gave me stuff, crazy stuff that I said, man, I could have never got. I mean, I'm talking about major, people who are on gigs, archaeologists. I mean, they gave me so much stuff that, you know, I'm like, I just wish I had learned it like 20 years ago.
Right. Well, it's never too late, man, because what you did
I
is
got
beautiful.
About 20 more good years, so.
Man, this is crazy, man.
I'm 57 now, so hey.
Man, you don't look it, brother. That's good.
I appreciate that, brother. Maybe some orange juice.
Yes, I want to know about the Sumerians. Okay. All right. So look, I'm gonna take a call, and then because we have one of the brother Ngozi want to ask you a question about the Sumerians. This is so beautiful, man. I'm gonna tell him to call. I mean, unless you finish, because I'm so glad. Just like the chat room said, that you cleared up all of this mess about, you know, what really went on in Dr. York. For the people that's first time hearing it, AD never even heard this before, and I know Cass in Stockton. You know what I'm saying? Even on the West Coast, probably, you know, didn't even hear this cat. And then there's a lot of people that do. But then there's a difference if you go check out the definition of occult leaders. You know what I'm saying? Occult leaders, you broke something down that a lot of people don't know. I heard what you said. And you said it real slick in that line. You said the characteristics of a cult leader. What was it?
Was it charisma?
Charisma?
Yeah, charismatic.
Could you pull that up, AD? Charisma, charismatic. And a lot of people, they go, because... Yeah, he gonna call in. And
you're talking about a flamboyant individual who has the ability to reach people.
Charismatic, I said it, yo, because the T getting slow.
Of the average person. They have this ability, this gift of gab, the ability to rouse the people, and because we're more prone to with the way a person talks and the rhythm, and you know, that's us. That's what you'll just call soul, you know, and we gravitate towards that. But unfortunately, he was using it, you know,
it's abuse.
It was a betrayal.
There you go. It seems, yeah, and there's a lot of leaders that's out there that's betraying people. You know what I'm saying? And
I mean, like I said, in spite of everything else, you know, I will say it, and I've said it publicly. I've said on it. I always loved Dr. York because at the time, I considered him my friend because I could call him on the phone because I was that close with him when I was doing the radio show because he was pumping me with all kinds of jewels and books. When I had a bookstore, he gave me free books. I was the first one that had all these cassette tapes featuring Chuck Morgan. Matter of fact,
all right, hold on. Hey, I got Brother Ngozi on the line.
Peace to you, brother Chuck Morgan. That's my big bro, Chuck Morgan. We Facebook buddies. Well, when I was on Facebook, I'm not on that now. I'm not in social media active. But peace and love to you, brother Chuck. How you doing?
Always, brother. Always. Peace and love to you.
He said peace and love to you.
I just wanted to ask him the question because you know he had a good delivery in his he did a beautiful demonstration on the Sumerians when he broke it down. His presentation was amazing. But then I wanted him to kill the confusion in the conscious community, to explain what race the Sumerians were, and for him to really go a little bit further into explaining or teaching that the Anunnakis was not aliens or any source of what we think, or not us, but in particular, but what the conscious community teach when it comes to saying the Anunnakis was extraterrestrials and the Sumerians was so-called us, Niger Congo speakers from tropical sub-Saharan Africa. Well, I would like for Brother Chuck Morgan to break that down over the airwaves now so the world can hear it.
There you go.
I'm going to just fall back and listen. Peace and love.
Peace. Okay. All right, brother.
Yeah. I mean, now,
take us there, brother.
I am not an Assyriologist. I am not a Sumerologist. I'm a student still rising.
Okay.
But from what I have seen, one of the things you'll learn as you go through this instruction, I would never step out and debate or argue an Assyriologist or Sumerologist on the finer points of the Sumerian grammar. Of course not. I haven't reached that level yet. But in saying that, you are able to pull out the frauds. You can see little things, and you'll know, and you have clear indicators that these people, you know, who knows Sumerian and who doesn't. Yeah. Okay, just the little things that they say, or how they write it, or in the form that they use. When it comes down to whether they were Niger Congo people, I have not seen any evidence to support that. I have listened to individuals who made that argument. I have checked their words. I've checked their sources. I've checked their system of cognitive word associations, and I don't find it, because a lot of the words that some people have used, these are loan words from Akkadian. These are not Sumerian terms, because it goes back to the Ensign Gudea of Lagash, when during these Sumerian renovation period, when they started, because remember, by the Babylonian period, the Sumerian language was a dead language. And so the Akkadians, who took on the system of the cuneiform writing, that writing system, and they had bilingual dictionaries. So they stored what the language of the ancient Sumerians was teaching, or what was the language that was used in the various city-states, because they owned it. And then by the time the Akkadians were defeated by the Gutians, the Gutians, the people from the Zagros Mountains that came down and took over, down in a little city-state called Lagash, where they have it, Lagash, I forget which ruler at the time, I just slipped my mind, like it was before Gudea, but anyway, they weren't affected, meaning they weren't conquered by the Gutians, and they preserved their culture. So what I'm trying to get to make a long story short, a lot of these word associations I have not seen. That's one of the reasons why they said that Sumerian is a language isolated, because they haven't found enough cognitive word associations from their roots, and what accounts for the various word changes. What's the word? It's called, specifically, it's called, they don't account for the different sound changes. Okay, and that's important. And so before it was ruled as being an isolated language, the wording or the language itself was very similar to, at least that's how it was understood. It was very similar to languages in Armenia. It was cognitive with what's the group, like Armenian. I can't even. Hold on a second.
Yes. So
I consulted. Listen, I got this. Can you see me?
We can see you.
We can see you.
Because I wanted to show this.
See.
I have 2 volumes. This is 2 big, thick books. It's called The Etymology Dictionary of the Sumerian Language, Part 1, Lexical Evidence. And then I have another one around here somewhere. And what they did was they reconstructed the Sumerian language. Okay? They reconstructed it, and by way of the many different languages, you see the cognates in a very direct form, something that's never been done before. So you found at least 3,000 cognitive words in European language.
That's shocked.
This is not something that's found in Africa. Now, there was a book written by a brother named Hermel Hernstein called Black Sumer. Now, I got a lot of flack because I did a video on the Data Squad channel. Shout out to Shaw. Happy birthday to Brother Garfield today. Congratulations on the book.
No doubt.
I did this thing, Word of the Sumerians Black. And back then, back in February, I was still growing, and I'm sharper now than I was back then. And a year from now, I'm going to be even sharper. And I say that because you know, some people took exception to it, and you know, I haven't responded yet, but in time. But I have not found any evidence that definitely not being the Sumerians being people from the Niger Congo. That was popularized by a renegade linguist. I put it that way. He wrote a book. His name was Campbell Dunn, and you know, guys can write books on Sumer and try to say it's linked in with, because see, a lot of these guys were apologists at the time because, you know, they wanted to give, you know, black folk kind of a leg up, and because everything that's been written about was always bad back in the period. But it goes all the way back to the 1920s, where a guy was saying that you may find Bantu in Sumerian language. Going back to the 1920s and now, the Sumerian language and the knowledge and the understanding and the new texts that have been discovered has revolutionized their whole language field in Sumerian. And what they knew back then is nothing compared to what they know now. A lot of stuff back then is obsolete. So in a nutshell, I don't find it, I've never found any evidence. And as I do more and more study into it, I'm finding it further and further and further away from that for a whole number of other reasons. And, you know, this is what a young brother who's studying a young linguist, and you know, shout out to a brother named Ned and Ned. You know, he's a good friend of mine, you know, out of Baltimore. You know, he made a good point because he said that how are you going to take, see, they'll say Proto-Bantu, which is a hypothetical language. It's not the language itself, it's a hypothetical. It's what we think based on this and that. How are you going to take a hypothetical language, say that it's cognate with a dead language, and then say that they're related? It makes that's completely illogical. A dead language with a hypothetical language, but they're related. But the iconography of the very people that you're saying that they're related to has nothing that parallels anything whatsoever to anything that's in Africa. And the one thing, and Ngozi can attest to that, and we talked about it, one thing they do not want to deal with is that unibrow of the Sumerians. Because whenever you go through all the imagery of the thousands and thousands of images of the Sumerians, they got this unique thing, that one unibrow. I'll be sure it's an exception, but that's another story. Just that unibrow.
And what's the basketball player too? Anthony Davis.
Yeah,
Anthony Davis.
Yeah,
Anthony Davis.
So what I'm saying is that in their literature, it means something, and it represented something. This is not an African trait. You don't find artifacts and images where there's a constant theme centered around it and legend built around it.
So all right. So okay. Go ahead. Finish.
I do not accept that theory that the Sumerians were African, black, or none of that.
Okay. So that's in the nutshell. So we had to come to there. All right. He did not accept the Sumerians as any African. What do you think that they come from? What are they? Do you think they are? Well,
let's look at it this way. See, the implication is that the Sumerians just popped out of nowhere. I mean, they literally just, here they are. Because mistranslations of various Sumerian texts gives the implication that they were just created in the Garden of Eden, and then they were sent out into the world.
To the land of Nod.
But here's what, when you dig and study into Assyriology, you'll discover that area of the marsh, there were people already there that had a thriving society.
Okay.
They already had a society. You had the people of Ura. Yeah. They were there before the Sumerians. So who were the Sumerians before they arrived into Sumer?
Right.
And it was, yes, that's important. So I'm still digging, but from some of the archaeology that I'm seeing in different areas, and I'm looking at it from pros and cons. I'm not looking at it on one side. I'm listening to both sides of the argument, and I'm seeing that there's a lot of artifacts that points to an area up between up near the Caucasus area. Not because I want to side with the white man, say that. I'm saying that based on the archaeology. And over time, I will debate.
I'll put you in this KPI.
If somebody says that I agree with you, because that type of facial characteristic is something that I see more prevalent in Indian people from India.
You made a powerful point, because that's another piece of the puzzle that people are not making. That's not tying it in. They're focusing somewhere in Africa. Yeah. But you have trade routes and mingling with the people of the Indus Valley. Yeah. And the Sumerians, and they had a relationship, and we do.
Yeah, because they are.
All right, hold on, brother. Let me let this brother get in. Go ahead. So he on the phone. Okay. Yo, all right, brother. Come in. Yo, say your name and tell us where you from, and you can ask a question for the brothers. All right.
Yeah, my name is Richard James. I'm from Baltimore.
Okay.
And I got a question for Chuck Morgan.
Okay. Yep. He heard you.
Okay. Chuck Morgan. You stated that there was no evidence that Niger Congo speakers came into Iraq and influenced Sumerian and Akkadian. But when we go to Martin Bernal, Black Athena, Volume 3, states that there were Niger Congo and Africans that migrated into Iraq and influenced Dravidian as well as Sumerian. Not only that, I have a second. Well, that was more of a statement. I want to know that you know anything about that. And then I had a second question for you. In your research on Dr. York, have you came across anything that proves that his method of teaching was used by any other people, or was his method of teaching unique only to him? Thank you.
Well, let me answer the last part first. His teaching style, I don't see it as being very unique, because there were a lot of other guys who were sharp and that could teach us. As a matter of fact, there was a lot of Christian preachers in New York that were like that. As a matter of fact, they call it Brooklyn Magic. So I have seen guys. As a matter of fact, Phil Valentine used to teach like York. He had that whole persona, walking with the and then very expressive. He had that teaching style, that charisma. I've seen a lot of guys that had that sharp. Even guys who were Nuwaupians or Ansar, they had that. These guys were sharp.
I told you.
They captivated you because they had the ability to articulate.
Chuck Morgan, I got one more question, Chuck. Yeah. Just one more question. And I appreciate your responses as well.
What's the question, brother? Yeah, we here.
My question was, damn, I just forgot that quick.
The Anunnakis, brother.
Oh, yeah. You keep mentioning how Dr. York went Christian at the end of the in 2000, but Dr. York is still alive, and he's not teaching Christianity from my research. So why do you keep bringing up how he converted to Christianity for political reasons for a case, and that was in 2001, but he's not teaching on that level any longer. So why do you keep bringing up that point?
Okay, good point.
As if his teaching stopped in 2001 when he's still teaching.
Okay. All right. Let me give it to you. Thanks for the question. All right. The reason I'm pointing that out is because it shows that inconsistency. It shows that hypocrisy, because he's used that same methodology in past times. This is why I did that. When we left Islam and started pretending to be Hebrews. Well, we were originally Hebrews back in a period before we were Muslim. Okay? Now, it is I assume that he pretended to be a Christian because of the case. That has not been conclusive. Now, his wife, people that I've interviewed, have said that they remember him, but they said that he actually believed it. I can't call it. So what had happened was, after he was convicted, because remember, when he was initially arrested, he pled guilty. He initially said he was innocent. Then he said he was guilty. And then He said he was innocent. So you can't be, he holds no solid position. So what we're calling that he's still teaching, what you have is people that have claimed these are Dr. York's teaching in the Patarak, or the actual fact. Because when York was in jail and he had access to letters, a lot of those letters were sent out to the office or other individuals, and they were submitted, and then they was transcribed and then released as books at the Patarak, in the actual fact. Those were, matter of fact, I got a book called Is Jesus God?, which came out after York was incarcerated. And it talks about, he starts going back into the whole Sumerian thing and the Anunnaki and all this other stuff. So parts of those letters that he starts talking about are in the books. And some of those books, those Patarak books, are nothing more than letters that York wrote that got added on, and then the brothers and sisters started compiling ideas and putting into the books and then releasing them. It is a business. So what York's position today, we don't know, because York doesn't give interviews. What we have is an organization that's trying to hold on to York and the followers by releasing publications. Whether he wrote them, because he's not writing in prison. We do know that those letters, because we have them, got set and put into book form. Pictures were added, and then a lot of the stuff that's in the Patarak is nothing but a lot of old books that came out previously that would have little add-ons. Because when people said he wrote all these hundreds or thousands of books, a lot of those books were nothing but revised editions with a few added pictures and pages and words and commentary. So that was my reason for bringing up the whole Christian thing, because at one time he was pushing the whole idea that ancient Kemet was the place to be, and that's where we are supposed to be, and that is our lineage and ancestry. And then he jumps out of that and he jumps into Sumer. Then he gets back into Egypt, and then he goes into Christianity. Then he comes out of that and says it's not from an atheist to a Christian to a Hebrew. That he had no solid position, so it's difficult to really gauge his truthfulness, his honesty, because he held no solid position. And he even said it. Oh, you know me, I'll switch up on you in a minute.
Yeah, he did say that.
That sound like
he said that. He said that. Yeah, he
was
was
like a rock with no foundation.
Yeah. We lost him on the phone. I mean, I guess you answered that question. That was crazy. Wow. That was dope. I was
gonna ask him
one. I'm gonna there's gonna be more to this. You know, I'm just sharing, and you know, it was a good question. I appreciate that.
When was the ship supposed to come?
Seriously, let me say this real quick. When we were working on the Black Pyramid, and this was right at the time that the Heaven's Gate, what's his name, Applewhite, when all the people committed suicide or were murdered. During that time, Hale-Bopp was the big thing in the media.
Okay.
Right? And Hale-Bopp, behind Hale-Bopp was supposed to be this this bright thing in the sky, which everybody was saying is Nibiru. That was a big thing. So what York said, he came out, because at night when we would be, because some of us stayed on the land, or we would go back into Edgewood Avenue in Atlanta, or whatever in town we would go to. But he would come out and he would say, he would teach a little bit, and he made the point. He said, you hear them people when they committed suicide, he said, them dummies, they did that. We're not going to do that. He said, why are we going out there when we're building our oasis down here? He said, tell them that. Why are we, if we're going to go to the Nibiru, why are we building a pyramid and an Egyptian theme park here in Jordan?
Nice. Yo, listen, we got Ngozi and we got Malik on online right now. All right, y'all. Which one going to speak first? Because it's three of us on here. Three of us.
I just wanted to say, because the brother tried, it seemed like he was trying to bait my brother Chuck Morgan in, and he said something about Mark Burnell, who was a pseudo, by the way. He got his book got shot down by Black Athena Revisited, and then he tried to say Black Athena Strike Back. Niger Congo speakers did not go into Iraq or Iran. This is what a lot of the conscious community are going to believe. They didn't go there. A lot of his information has been debunked. But I can think that he had some good stuff in there, but a lot of it wasn't correct. The Sumerians were not Niger Congo speakers genetically, and I'm glad that the brother, like you said, there's a lot of studies and a lot of findings come out. If you want to base things off just without even putting genetics in there, just the infrastructures, or looking at the oldest ziggurat before they go into southern Iraq and meet up with the Proto-Ubays and the Proto-Euphrates people that were there prior before them, the oldest ziggurat is found in central Iran before they started building the ziggurats in that part of southern Iraq. So if you want to get, like he said earlier, the people come from the Caucasus, and they were in kinship to some of the same people that was responsible for going to India and building Harappa. Because even the Harappa people who had an Adamese genetic component with the early hunter-gathering Iranian genetic component went there before the population from the steppes came down about the Indo-European language. A lot of these people were Tamil speakers, and they were slightly related to these Proto-Tamil speakers, not saying that that's the language that the Sumerians spoke. But we do know that the water buffalo that the Sumerians had came from people that come from Harappa. You have genetics that they're finding from fossils that show Indian merchants that were genetically connected to the people in Harappa. You're finding their bodies in Iraq. So what I'm trying to say is that the unibrow, the structure of the ziggurat, the earliest ziggurat is found in Iran before you find it in southern Iraq. Before, like you said, before that, the Proto-Euphrates or the Proto-Ubay people were there, and they were not Sumerians. These people come from an area near Dillim, and they were wandering near Dillim through Iran and through Oman and through the eastern coast of the Arabian Peninsula. But the base root for these people is near the southern Caucasus, not the northern Caucasus, possibly in Highland. I just want to add that on. Please don't ever bring up Mark because Mark Manel is a pseudo, and he was cut down by other scholars. Peace and love to you.
All right, peace, brother. Okay, that's brother Nicosi. All right, hold on. We got Malik on. What's up? Hello?
Peace and Gozi. Peace and Gozi. Shout out to Timo Cyrus. We on the horizon.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, Morgan, I got a question. Sorry, I had to stress that pickles and Chuck. Question. Yes. There's somebody in the chat made me think of this question. There's still individuals who profess and claim and represent particular schools of thought that York had been done and thought of and taught and did away with, but yet you still have.
You all right, brother?
I didn't understand the question.
You okay? We can't hear your question, man. You got to call back because we don't understand you. I think
he tagged.
Yeah. It's hard when you drinking alcohol. You know what I'm saying? No. Sometimes you twisted.
Is he twisted? Is that brother twisted? He sounds a little twisted.
I don't know. It sounded like it was twisted. All right, whatever. He's gonna call back in. Let me see.
Yeah, I got about another 5 minutes.
Okay. What is I think about a lot about the case, right?
Yeah.
And I say to myself, why they didn't try to cross-examine Doc? Like, how in a case where they would the other attorney cross-examine you, or he, when you plead guilty, you don't go through that whole, you know what I'm saying? And you don't go through the whole thing. But he did go to trial. So I was always wondering why he was never like cross-examined.
Well, at the advice of his legal counsel, they recommended that he not take the stand. I've always said that, if he claimed to be the greatest debater of all time, and he knew all the sciences of how to present yourself in court, etc. And I'm saying, why didn't he debate that brother, Richard Moultrie, the lead prosecutor? He could have just got on the stand, and when they start asking questions about the Bureau and Planet Risk, he should be able to defend it and have some evidence to back it up.
They would have asked all that kind of stuff.
He would have been open to all that.
Wow, that's probably why they told him not to take the stand like that.
Yeah, because they did check the Holy Tablets book out. All that stuff came up in the testimonies and at the trial. It was all part of the case.
That's why I say, to me,
but it went,
that kind of jacket.
I'm sorry?
I said, to me, like, you know, a man that wears that kind of jacket and pleads guilty to something like that, right? I mean, like, you know, if you were really innocent of that, you would have fought back against that, don't you think?
Well, I think I would never copy nothing like that. But again, on the inside of the story, he had no other option, because in 2003, they had got samples of his blood and it sent it to California to have it analyzed, because the children had their blood examined, and when it came back, and I posted this on the website where you can see the documents, where the herpes simplex 2 that he had, several of the victims who were at the time underage, they had it also.
Yo, let me.
It was argued. It didn't come up in the trial. No, wow. It never came up in the trial. But that was what laid the foundation for him to plead guilty to throwing himself on the mercy of the court.
Hold on, Rasul. Let me shout out to Conhart Media. Conhart
was guilty.
Hold on, brother. Conhart Media is coming to see. Oh, shout out to Conhart Media. Conhart Media coming to see you, priest, sooner than later. Shout out to Fourth Disciple and what's his name? Go ahead.
But so you saying that he was guilty because, according to what you're saying, the children had herpes too.
Well, see, one of the things when there was we did a show one night, and then a brother brought a good point up. He said that well, if they came back with the analysis saying that he had the same thing that these victims had, why didn't they just do a second opinion from a separate independent laboratory?
Mm-hmm.
Didn't do it.
Maybe,
so he pled guilty.
Yeah.
And that's what led to the guilty plea you might see on YouTube, which was in the state court. I'm sorry, that was in federal.
Yeah. Wow.
No, I'm sorry, make clarity. That was the state court. Yeah. So he pled guilty twice. One day was the 23rd and the 24th in 2003 January.
Wow.
And so that's what led to it. But
you go ahead.
Like I said, on the website I have all that stuff. So that whole court thing is like, it's exhausting.
Chuck, this has been great. Yeah, I know this has been great. Hey, listen, I'm not going to front right now. I'm twisted with this tea. How y'all feel?
I feel good.
I'm chilling.
Yeah, this tea got me like, I'm a lightweight. How you gonna be a tea master and a lightweight?
Well,
true. No, that's true. But that's some good, strong tea right here.
Yeah.
Yeah, you notice I'm lifting up the bowl. Chuck, I mean, you have anything else to tell us before you get up out of here?
I appreciate the ear, because I mean, I don't get paid for this. I don't do people who want to know. Mm-hmm. I have the evidence to show it. I try to back up everything that I say with the documentation. I try not to become. So I give them. I don't want to give people a way to go at me without being able to cite my source.
Wow.
Any opinions I have, I try to keep that separate, because then someone can always come back and say, "Well, that's your opinion."
Indeed, no. Chuck, we got Malik on here before. I mean, you go. All right, what's up, Malik?
Yeah, my reception went, man, all that pickle jizz. Now, here's the question.
Say all that pickle jizz.
In the chat, I had seen somebody, and it made me think of this question that me and you often talk about, but I don't think maybe a lot of people are aware of this. You have individuals that did not transition from a school of thought to the next. So now you have some people are stuck as Ansar, some people are stuck as Israelites, right? They never made it to Nuwaupian, or they never made the Sapien.
Mm-hmm.
As we're currently speaking, how many different sects are there now presently amongst the Yorkians?
Last I counted about eight different denominations of Nuwaupians, Ansar, Yamasi Native Americans, the United Nation of Moors, United Nuwaupians, the Reunited Nation. There are multiple different groups that now have taken on, and not just them, but also Ansar, the Nubian groups. A lot of brothers have decided to, take a little bit of what they like, and then they started their own little clique. I mean, this is to be expected. The Drew Ali's organization You know, that's a good example. So when York passes on, and he doesn't bring closure to this thing, he's going to go on as a martyr, and people are going to constantly say, well, I'm the reincarnation of Melchizedek. Doc passed on, but the entity Melchizedek is here now with you in human form. Like York said.
Crazy, man. That's crazy. Yeah, I think his phone just went off. Yo, Chuck, I just want to thank you, man. Do you have anything you want to plug? You have where can people get in touch with you?
A website called Nuwaupianism.com, and it has 4 categories, which pretty much addresses nearly everything, or at least we're trying to, because I'm working by myself, trying to get as many things up in it, just to bring some clarity or a counter argument to some of the things that the propagandas are out promoting and trying to proselytize new recruits into the cult, or a version of the cult.
Okay, and
this is one of my little side hobbies.
And last question, okay, and last question for Prince Marcel. He said, did the Anunnakis really exist? Or the Anunnakins?
No. Anunnaki never lived. No. There's no archaeological evidence to support anything like that. These are nothing more than fairy tales, no different than any Greek mythology or any other fairy tale. People had a lot of time, and they came up with great epics of creation. And a lot of that stuff about Anunnaki is very limited. It's only down to a particular period, you know. And then they started elevating it in the Babylonian society and started promoting the Igigi or Igigu as being above, and the Anunna became subservient. So the Anunna became deities of the underworld, and the Igigu in Akkadian and Babylonian became those prominent deities. But I haven't seen anything that said that they worship.
Did the Giants exist?
The football team?
This is asked by the questions. This is asked by the.
Hey, you know I ain't gonna answer nothing.
Yeah, exactly. Okay. Yeah, man. So this is this has been great, brother. I mean, it's up to you.
Loved it. I enjoyed it.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, I'm digging your music too.
Oh, thank you, brother. Thanks, man. I got some new stuff.
Down the highway.
No doubt. We got the Horseman out right now, and I got some new stuff that's coming, man. And the new stuff I'm working on is some good stuff. Yeah, no doubt.
Yeah, we need more of that.
Thank you so much.
Hey,
somebody asked
Rasul, hit me up anytime.
Yeah. I'll hit you back up. I'm going to do a podcast too. I'll have you on my show. Then we can really dive in deep.
We can build.
Yeah.
It's been great, man. I enjoyed it.
Right. Okay. Who is Jesus? So I have to get you with that.
Yeah.
Historical fact. Before you leave, they try to throw it in, man. They want to throw it in. So I said, I'll give you that last one, bro. A lot of people. A lot of people don't. Yeah, exactly. We need a sample Matt P. All right, brother. Man, it's up to you, man. You can get up out of here. You know what I'm saying? All right, thank you.
All right, Chuck. Peace, man.
That was Chuck.
I'll hit you up.
Right on.
Chuck.